Wendy Bell Radio is live.
Hey, Brock, what day is today?
Hump day.
It is hump day.
Wow.
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-woo!
Now, Wendy Bell Radio is live officially.
Oh my gosh, Brock, I know what today is. And I'm going to give you a break because yesterday was probably one of the most stressful days you've had. In broadcast media your entire life, he had to rebuild like everything. Everything we had, every bit of sound, every bumper bed, every bit of music, every skit that Kelly did, everything, which is why the music was so weird yesterday. And can I tell you guys something about you? Alan told me about it this morning, the guy who crunches all. I'm just going to call him Al, okay? Al. Rumble had a hell of a time yesterday for whatever reason. We were having our own hell of a time. But the numbers were down, really down. Like some of the influencers, hundreds of thousands down. And guess who kept climbing up and up and up and up? We did. Because of you guys.
Because everybody loves the shit show.
Because of you guys. I want to read you a few things. This is from... I copied some of your comments. And Brock, I think you're going to like this. JMR fan 4 hours ago. Well, it was more than that. I've been listening to Wendy and Brock since I first learned of this show after seeing her Common Sense program on Newsmax a couple years ago. Wendy sure knows how to write and deliver a monologue as well as speak on the issues of the day. The humorous busting each other's stones commercial break banter between her and Brock that reflects a deep friendship is priceless. They are the real deal. And if anyone is worthy of Rush's time slot, it's Wendy and Brock.
Wow.
How about this from JG Bader, Baader? Wendy, since I've been using Blood Flow 7, my blood pressure is down from 156/82 to 136/72. I didn't expect this result, but my cardiologist is pleased. Thanks, Wendy. How about this from Red 583? Thanks, Wendy and Brock. I subscribe to Blood Flow 7. I look forward to trying more of your sponsors.
Okay, two things can I cover from yesterday?
I love it, you guys. Thank you. Yes.
The recipe from Jack's beef stew is in the show notes today. An easier read is if you join Locals. It's on our Locals page.
Wendy Bell. Go to locals.com and just plug in our name, Wendy Bell
just
Radio.
Just hit the WLBR Army. And I put it so you don't have to subscribe. So
yeah, normally our subscription for the rundown that we put out every single day, hours before the show, which is a huge threat. I mean, that's a huge threat to us because anybody could rip us off, take our show, whatever. We put it out there for you, $5 a month, and we give you 2 months free because we feel bad about charging for it. We're such capitalists, aren't we? How about this? Alley Map. Hey, Wendy, I listen to Dan Bongino, then straight into your show while I'm on my mail route. Nice. I get 5 hours of total truth every day. Love you and Brock.
Wow.
How about Revolting Villager? Good show. Wendy has a clever wit, expression, and energy that reminds me a bit of Lucille Ball. What a compliment. What a great compliment. Wow. I don't think that's deserving.
Did anyone say anything about me getting a raise?
Mr. Wad, 15. Also here from Southwestern Pennsylvania. This show has quickly become my second favorite.
Second?
Nooner.
Oh.
My second favorite nooner. Who'd be the first, Brock? Rush Limbaugh, you moron.
Oh, well,
Jesus.
He's not on the air anymore.
How about Term says, I ordered my Cozy Earth bamboo sheet set yesterday and can't wait until they're here.
Oh, my gosh.
My Egyptian cotton sheet set is rapidly wearing thin. Yeah, you're not going to want those anymore.
Yeah. Here's the dealio on that. 15 minutes before you wash and dry them, 15 minutes before you go to bed, right out of the dryer, put them on your bed.
Preferably after you've taken a bath or a shower and you've put tulip blooms all over your feet.
Kate said this morning, she goes, I told someone at work about tulip blooms. I said, that's wrong. It's tulipblooms.shop / Wendy. She took 3 squirts of it already.
Oh, she took hits off of your pump?
Yeah, this morning she goes, can I have a squirt? And I'm like,
can I have a hit? I'm telling you, this is going to change your life. Put it on your hands, put it on your feet, put it on your elbows, put it wherever on your skin where you feel like you need a little nourishment. Wendy Bell. Okay, no. tulipblooms.shop / Wendy. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. This is.
Yeah, I thought Nooner was Afternoon Delight.
That's the new must have. tulipblooms.shop / Wendy. It's called the velour massaging oil. There's more stuff there, but this is the thing. It absorbs in your hands in like 5 minutes, and it's
put it on your feet, put socks on, and
put it all freaking and then put them on over yourself.
A foot massager.
And be like,
here we go.
I love you guys. Thanks for being here.
4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back. Not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at you.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we're converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Well, hello, America. Greetings to all of you across the beautiful fruited plain. Welcome home to the Wendy Bell radio program. Delighted as always to share what we believe is just the truth. It's common sense conservatism. Look, nothing I'm going to talk about on this program is anything that's going to make you go, oh, because you're starving for anybody who's able to tap into what you want to be able to scream from the mountaintops. Well, you found us, wendybellradio.com. We're unique. We are a radio program. We also happen to live stream the entire show on Rumble and also our app, wendybellradio.com. And we podcast the whole thing as well. And we've got 7.5 million downloads of our podcast. So if you're new, I hope you kind of hang out for a little bit. Give me a whirl. See what you think, because I think you're going to feel very comfortable. And I welcome you. Welcome home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. I love watching this president call out everything in the world. He forces Democrats to put all their eggs in all of the wrong baskets. He forces world leaders to show their cards and pledge their allegiance to this thing called America that they apparently don't feel very committed to. Hence, they're not participating in patrolling the Strait of Hormuz, right? He calls out all people. He puts them on notice, and he forces us to sit back and pay attention to things that we never did before. Again, I always go back to COVID. If you guys weren't so punished, if you weren't living in a blue state with a dictator governor, as I was, here in the land before time, Pennsylvania, you might not have caught on as fast, but you caught on. Everything that was going on was wrong, and it didn't feel right, and you knew it. And they lied to you and covered it up, and the media ran interference, and it sucked. And then all of a sudden, somewhere along your journey, you went, "Pah, wait, what? What's going on?" And now, all of a sudden, I find myself looking forward to go home and watch C-SPAN. Are you out of your mind? You guys, there is no drama on television right now. There's no rerun on Netflix, nothing on Hulu that I can find that is more fascinating and more real than watching the idiots who allegedly represent us in Congress and in the Senate. And so now that we've got the SAVE Act, right? We've got the Save America Act. Everybody's behind it. 84% of us, everybody knows this. It's a major, major measure that everybody agrees with. We agree. If you want to vote in our elections, you have to be a citizen. And if you're not a citizen and you want to become a citizen, there is a path to do that, but it is a process. And there is a line, and you can't skip the line. Because that process teaches you about our country. It teaches you about our founding fathers, who, by the way, were brilliant because they predicted an awful lot of things. They put in a lot of measures in our great Constitution to prevent us from being at the precipice that we find ourselves in right now, right? So the SAVE Act is supposed to be on the floor. It passed 51-48 to go to debate. Right? We're going to agree, which is a huge hurdle. You're like, oh, thanks, senators, right? Thank you for deciding to listen to us, right? It doesn't mean we're even close to getting this thing across the finish line. So I stumbled upon this article this morning, kind of explaining a little bit about it. And it's about Brandon Gill, representative from Texas. And he told Newsmax overnight that Senate Republicans should attempt a talking filibuster to pass the Save America Act, countering Senate Majority Leader John Thune's doubts about having enough votes. Having enough votes, we're going to circle back on this. We're going to Jen Psaki and circle back to this whole idea that we just can't get it across the finish line. Therefore, we're not going to try it, which is code Brandon Gill thinks for senators, particularly the Republicans, being too damn lazy to be willing to put in the time for a talking filibuster. What does that mean? Well, everybody who's against what we are for, citizenship and photo ID to vote, has to get up on the Senate floor, i.e. Democrats, and basically talk, explain why, and do it as long as you can, as long as you need. And while they do that, there has to be enough people there present, overnight, weekends, holidays, doesn't matter, as long as it takes. And Brandon Gill was like, look, I don't think that you've got a Senate that's willing to put in the time, that's willing to spend the time to do this, which is absolutely embarrassing to me. So I thought I would share with you a few things. See, if our Senate doesn't want to put in the time on the job, then why are they doing the job? Get out of the Senate. How many of you work? What do you work? 40 hours a week? Maybe you work 50, 60. Some of you work outrageous, 80 hours a week or more. You work one job, you go to another job. It is the circumstance that you're in. And I appreciate that. Well, it's not the situation that the Senate is in. Did you know that the Senate has 15 weeks off a year? What do you guys have off? A week, 2? Maybe 2 weeks? If you're lucky, if you're Brock, you get like 4 hours off. You don't have any time off. 15 weeks if you're a sitting U.S. senator. And then when you do work Tuesday through Thursday, that's all they work. They don't work Mondays. They don't work Fridays. They fly back to their constituents and their families. Oh, and by the way, you pay for all of that. You pay for their food while they're in Washington. You pay for their transportation to get hither and yon. You pay for it. And they're not willing to put in the time. Well, let's drill down a little bit on this ridiculosity, shall we? All right. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, when the Senate is in session, that's when the senators actually are there working. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. How would you like a job that paid you $174,000 base a year to work 3 days a week, basically considering you'll probably have a long drinking lunch, probably work 7 hours those 3 days, maybe work 24 hours a week, but when you factor in all the time off, it really is only about 15 hours a week that the senators work. And they're unwilling to show up and get this across the finish line. I pity all of you Republican senators who want to play this game with the American people, because it's not going to end well for you, I can tell you. Okay, so they worked only 5 Fridays, the Senate did, in 2025. 5 Fridays. How would you guys love a 4-day weekend every single week that you showed up to work, knowing full well that 15 of the weeks you don't have to because you're off? Is that a pretty cushy job? Do you think that maybe you would be willing to show up and work really hard the hours that you have? You'd think so, but no. Did you know that each member of the Senate gets up to $1.1 million, your money, that you spend for them to travel for free. So they can fly back to their home, back to see their families and forth, back and forth. And their spouse sometimes can accompany them. In fact, when you put in staff and spouses, each senator gets kind of a squishy budget of about $3.5 million just for travel. So out of the gates, before we even move on and do anything, you're already looking at what? $150 million a year in U.S. taxpayer funds so that the Senate doesn't have to work. Now, beyond that, you also pay for their meals because God forbid you should show up and have to buy your own coffee or have to get your own bagel or your own burger at lunch. And it's not like your per diem would be. What would you normally spend if you don't brown bag it on the way to work? What do you spend? Maybe $15 for lunch? If you're going through Chick-fil-A, are you getting out of there by yourself under $15? Probably not. Well, it pays to be a U.S. senator because they get $96 a day. How hard would it be for you to spend $96 a day every single day that you're working in the Senate? Because that's what they get. So at the end of it all, we spend $350 million a year so that the Senate doesn't have to do its job. Are you out of your mind? And then what is also a little curious, I'm just thinking about 1.5 to 1.5% of the American people, we the people, are millionaires. 1.5%. It's a very, very small number. The majority of the rest of us, right? We're brown bagging, working at 40 to 100 hours a week, whatever it is. Oh, in the Senate, 73 out of the 100 senators are millionaires or billionaires. 73%. And yet they don't want to show up and do the job. They get 15 weeks off a year. They work average, if you factor that in, about 15 hours a week. They don't pay for their own transportation. They don't pay for their own food. And so they don't want to show up. Exactly why? Because they've gotten really damn used to doing nothing. Right? Isn't that sort of like the Somalians in Minneapolis and beyond? Getting really used to doing nothing, running scams, no oversight, nobody really checking, until a 23-year-old YouTuber comes filming, and then it's outrage, death threats. What are you doing? Kill him, right? Who else do we have not wanting to do a whole lot? I think we could probably add a lot of people to that category. This is the one time. This is the one hill. This is the one issue. This is the one everything. This is the hill to die on. And so I have a message to every single Republican senator. We're watching you. I'm watching you. I go home and I watch you and I listen to what you say, and I expect you to show up and do your job. So get off your ass and get it done. Signed, America. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, like voter ID, it seems Operation Epic Fury is wildly approved by the vast majority of Americans. Despite all of the fake news headlines, despite all the Democrats who were like, oh my God, we did what to Iran? Yeah, you'll like this one next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Hey, I want to tell you quickly, while we're in this break, CB Distillery right now is offering up to 50% off everything in their store. And they really hit on three main things, and all of us, I think, can utilize these. If you take medicine because of stress or anxiety, you take some kind of a Xanax or something like that, there is a non-pharmaceutical medicine. It's not even a medicine. It's an herbal remedy, if you will. It's cbdistillery.com. If you suffer from pain after doing yard work or you're exercising and you're like, oh, my back, or oh, I did something to my leg, my shoulder, they've got a formula for that. If you need help because you cannot quiet your mind and you don't get a good night's sleep, they have a formula for that. Gummies that you can suck on and chew and swallow that puts you in that place to fall asleep, to stay asleep, and to wake up rested. That is CB Distillery. That's why they have 2 million satisfied customers. That's why we've been partners with them for a couple years now. CBDistillery.com. Use the promo code RUMBLE, and you will get up to 50% off everything they got. All right? Don't miss this. I think they're very special. I like them very much. I can say that. We also later, I think I'm going to do it at the break here. At the bottom of the hour, we have a new sponsor alert. And I'm super interested to see what you guys do with this one. I know, it's
interesting.
Top secret. It is very interesting. I've never heard of...
I tried something and I was very skeptical. And I was like,
So we have, and you know what? Out of the gate, I said no. I said to this sponsor, I was like, I just don't think our people, are going to have a use for this. And they were like, okay, well, why don't we just send you some product and you see what you think? And I was like, okay. And so we got something. I shared it with Brock. He took it home and he made it. And I took it home and I made it. And we were both like, about that. We were both like, I would get this. Maybe they would. So hang tight. I want to get into it with a little bit more detail coming up in the bottom of this hour. Hey, Demanda, I see you're back. I think she was a little under the weather for a while, so I'm glad to see her back. Welcome back, sweetness. Nick Shirley all over it again, pissing off people in Van Nuys, not far from where I grew up. I love it. I love it. The indignance of these immigrants who have the audacity to finger wag us when we ask, how much money are you getting from me? Get out of here. Are you with Dr. Oz? Oh, you guys are going to love it.
I got more work to do when I go home.
Oh, no, why?
I forgot something.
Oh, what'd you forget?
The song that I typically play here. So we'll change it up a little
bit. He really... I love new bumper music. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio program. You got to love this. It's been a doozy of a week for us already, and it's only hump day. Monday and Tuesday, we had our clock blowout after we had this storm that fried everything. Brock lost a computer yesterday, so we lost all of the music. He had to hardwire. He MacGyvered things with wires and gum and string and what have you. And now we're back in business, and you guys are here strong, and I'm just delighted. Thank you for hanging with us. Okay, so let's talk about this. Operation Epic Fury. You know, I printed out some of the headlines that we've been hearing from the fake news, right? CNN putting out this story with stakes rising in Trump's Iran war. The pressure is on for the admiral running U.S. Central Command. With a breakout story about an absolute nightmare, a couple who got married in the Maldives or stranded after Iran war broke out. That's important for everybody, right? How about this from the New York Times? Entering war's third week, Trump faces stark choices, with a breakout story on the war making it harder to keep the lights on in Bangladesh. I kid you not. That was a nail biter. CNBC says forever war. Democrats rebut Trump's assertion that Iran war nearing its end. Reuters, Pentagon tells Congress no sign that Iran was going to attack U.S. first, sources say. I mean, it's literally a nonstop barrage of garbage, basically thrown in your mouth every single day. Why is it not moving the needle, darn it? You got the Democrats, the deep staters, the media, all of whom are the same people, right? Totally pissed about this. Well, tremendously popular. What's that? Polls show MAGA and the GOP overwhelmingly back Trump's Iran Operation Epic Fury. But wait a minute, it's not just us. It's just not just we, the conservative people. It's the majority of everybody. We'll bury that down in the story from Breitbart. Here you go. Polling throughout the nearly 3-week U.S.-Israeli military operation against Iran has consistently shown near unanimous backing for President Donald Trump's decision to launch Operation Epic Fury among the MAGA base and overwhelming support among Republicans. While a new Rasmussen Report survey released yesterday finds that a majority of likely voters overall say the operation has been succeeding. That's a real kick in the pants if you're a lefty. Aren't you guys paying attention to what CNN is telling you? This is an outrageous assault on the Iranian people. They didn't do anything wrong. They weren't going to strike us. Trump is mean and he's a warmonger and we hate him. No, Iran has tortured people for half of a century and killed a lot of Americans. Rasmussen poll found that 61% of likely voters say the military operation against Iran has been successful so far, including 35% who describe it as very successful. The survey also underscored the level of public engagement with the conflict. This is it. People are paying attention. With 81% of voters saying they have been closely following the developments, including 49% who say they have followed them very closely. A group among whom support rises to 66%. So how are they gonna smear the president now? Right? He took out what we thought was the entirety of Iran's nuclear capacity last year. That wasn't correct. Apparently, they were going to fire on us or fire on our allies, be very close to having a nuclear warhead. Unacceptable. Trump gave them many detours, told them to stand down, disarm. They didn't. And so, okay. You know, I'm pretty sure that's how you and I parent, right? When you say to your kids, I don't think you want to be doing that. This is the rule. You need to follow it. And if you don't, right, some shizzle in your world is about to get dirty. In regard to the current military campaign against Iran, have the U.S. military attacks been very successful, somewhat successful, not very successful, or not at all successful? All voters, 65% successful, including 69% of men, again, who always seem to have clarity as women are like, what? 59% of women, that was kind of a shocker. You know who also likes it? Well, 54% of Generation Z, voters 18 to 29, 54% say this operation has been successful. How about 63% of 30 to 39-year-olds, 61% of 40 to 49-year-olds, 50 to 64, 64%, and then shockingly, the oldest echelon giving the highest approval, 74%. This is very bad news for the deep state. They'll do anything they can to smear the military, to do anything they can to stain this president's legacy. And his legacy is to make the world safer via peace through strength. And if you don't see the strength because you don't want to see peace, well, you're going to feel it in a heartbeat. Cuba now still in the dark, still not having their power. Of course, what are they going to do? How are you going to get your grid resolved? How are you going to all of a sudden electrify an island that has for 50 years or longer been in the dark in many, many more ways than this? President Trump offering that olive branch, the same he offered to Canada, the same he offered to Greenland. You know what? We can absorb you if you'd like. Outrageous. Now, Trump playing his cards, seeing who at the table has similar Trump, flushing him out trick by trick. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, Democrats fighting on the Senate floor to keep cheating in U.S. elections. All the wrong moves, ladies and gentlemen, next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
It's funny. Every time I look at the computer that has all the sound and all the bumpers, I remember what I forgot.
Right? I'm gonna bring up some things and you tell me if you like them. You ready? Bacon.
Really?
How about beef and lamb gyros. Gyros.
Yeah, I love gyros.
Me too. How about boneless country style pork ribs? How about sirloin steaks? How about a sirloin steak dinner with herb and garlic roasted russet potatoes and fresh sliced yellow summer squash, followed by a New York cheesecake for dessert?
I'm in.
Are you in? Do you want to come over for dinner?
I'm in.
How about sushi? How about blueberries and strawberries? How about all of it? Now imagine it's all in your pantry and it's freeze-dried. You're like, wait a minute, how do you freeze-dry a raspberry? How do you freeze-dry a sirloin meal? How do you freeze-dry an entire holiday turkey dinner with complete, fully cooked turkey breast, mashed Idaho potatoes, cut corn, green beans, and fresh sliced pumpkin pie for dessert? Bingo, you do with our new sponsor, freezedryWholesalers.com. freezedryWholesalers.com/Wendy. Okay, Brock?
I had the burger.
I had the steak.
Of course. I was very, very skeptical.
Total.
I'm like, really?
You take it out and you're like, what's this? And?
I could not tell the difference.
Thank you.
Could not tell the difference. I was like,
Look, and I
was trying.
I was like, look, I don't think our people, I was talking to freezedryWholesalers.com/Wendy. I'm like, I'm not so sure our people are like preppers. And they're like, it's not really about that. It's about convenience. And then we lost power over the weekend. And then all of my grocery stores where I get my produce had gotten hit and were offline and they were closed. And then I had a little bit of food insecurity. And I was like, well, what if I couldn't get all of the things I need to feed my family? Now what do? You start fiddling with people in the food supply. It's a little nerve-wracking. Well, this is where freezedryWholesalers.com/Wendy comes in. Everything that you could possibly want. They have, what is it? They have 300 meals to choose from. Over 300 meals. Burgers, sirloin steaks, ribeyes, scrambled eggs. This is what they look like. This is what it looks like. Freeze-dried scrambled eggs. You're like, really? Yeah, because when you freeze dry it down to a temperature, you get all of the water out of it. And then what you get at the end isn't some piece of cardboard, some stale MRE that tastes like a shoe. You rehydrate it and you cook it and you eat it. And it's delicious. And you're like, that's bizarre.
I kind of want those now.
I'm going to give you these to eat. Okay. And then I'm going to ask for, I want to try their fruit. And
yeah,
how
would be interesting.
How do you freeze dry fruit? Look, they are a military contractor too. freezedryWholesalers.com, which I find reason number 11D4 that I would love this company, right? Helping the military, helping you and me. And these are bulk. This is bulk. So when you buy a bag of sirloin steaks, freeze-dried sirloins, I fed my whole family with this one bag. And the one bag was like $60. Now you could go in and take one out, or you can make the whole thing. That's cheap, right? freezedryWholesalers.com.
Freeze-dried. This is probably not what they were thinking, but tell me making a cocktail.
Pop one of those bad boys in there.
Because the booze will hydrate it.
Wow. My drinking friend, Brock. freezedryWholesalers.com. This isn't like the billionaire prepper class. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not asking you to go build a bunker somewhere, but to have things on the shelf, whether or not you have time to run to the grocery store, or whether or not you're getting home from a business trip late and you're like, snap, I don't have time. Now you do. Because it's there on your shelf. Remember, this is wholesale. So you're going to get it's bulk. It's not 1 or 2 servings. It's like 4 to 6. And it's off the grid.
No, the steaks were $60, not the eggs.
No, not the eggs. Steaks. So, freezedryWholesalers.com.
They said they use freeze-dried fruit.
/Wendy. You use my name, you're going to get 15% off your order. freezedryWholesalers, all one word, .com /Wendy. put in Wendy as your promo code, 15% off your order. Try it. See what you think. I'm very interested to see what you guys think. I don't know. I think it's a great idea. And I was blown away just looking at some of the things they have here.
I'm just thinking the fruit and the drink now.
I mean, oh gosh. Well, it is noon. So, right?
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
We should have a little kegerator or something going on. That'd be nice.
No, like right now, a nice bourbon sitting here that I can sip on during the show.
Yep. Then you're going to want to have your own humidor in there, and we're going to want to get sniper because you're going to want to smoke in there, your cigars. I know how this party ends.
Oh, you make it sound like a bad.
4,300 people. Hey, welcome. I'm so glad you... Welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio program. A delight to be with you, friends. WendyBellRadio.com. So Democrats are fighting to keep the cheating going. There really isn't a whole lot of nuance when you look at the rationale for a senator's vote, right? If you vote no to the Save America Act and you want to lie and say it's just going to make everything so difficult for people, they're not going to be able to go get their document. It's so insulting, and the way you treat the American people because it's an excuse is insulting. It's dumbing, and we're tired of it. We're tired of it. Stop it. We know damn well what the Save America Act is all about, and we're for it. And 83% of us say, pass the damn thing, shut your mouths, and get it done. Now, I do want to hear some of their arguments why they want to vote against it. It's just outrageous. Expecting people to go get their documents. It's going to cost all this money. Do you know how many articles I've read in newspapers all across the country that parrot that complete lie? Well, your real ID in Pennsylvania isn't going to qualify you. It's not going to provide you adequate proof of identity. And so you're going to have a passport. You know what it costs to have a passport? It's $168. And it's like, no, that's not even remotely what's going on. But God forbid senators would read the bill or not lie, right? They need the voters. They need the illegals. They need the cheat. They need to keep ICE agents away from the polling places. Like, why? That's so, when you're not a cheater, when you're not a liar, you're like mystified. You're like, it's almost like we can't see why you're against it. So let's get some of the updates. Senate begins the debate on the Save America Act. And they do this by the skin of their chinny chin chin. I'm going to read you this. It was pretty much the most comprehensive thing I could find, kind of get us up to speed where we are now. FoxNews.com, Trump calls mail-in voting corrupt. Facts. As Senate begins debate on the SAVE Act requiring voter ID. President Trump blasted mail-in voting as corrupt as hell. I mean, you got to love him, right? It's corrupt as hell. Tell me, where do you live? Because I live in Pennsylvania, where in 2020, there were 1.7, 1.8 million mail-in ballots mailed out. And yet it was so weird because they got back 2.5 million. Like, how did that work out? Or was that the UPS or the USPS driver, Jesse, remember him? The guy who was tasked with driving a truckload of gaylords of ballots, completed ballots. Yeah, maybe that's where all of that infusion of 800 mail-in ballots that didn't exist came from after the election. It's almost like it's so freaking obvious. Trump made the remarks during the Shamrock Bowl presentation with Irish Prime Minister Micheál Martin. And he said, look, telling the crowd the biggest thing coming up is the Save America Act in the Senate. Said the legislation focuses on all the things that we know. And so now the president's marks follow Senate Republicans moving to bring the Save America Act to the Senate floor. They got all the Democrats said no. We got, 51-48 to begin debate on the bill. Gotta love that Lisa Murkowski, who is I guess she's out in the Alaskan hinterlands because she's not paying attention to what people want. Hey, Lise, you suck. Then there's Tom Tillis, who I think sucks worse because he just didn't show. Oh, Tom, I'm sorry. Was it 15 weeks that you have off? Was that a little too much for you? You're like, I so need another day. It looks like a good day to be off, right? It just doesn't show. Okay. Super duper. So now they're going to debate it. Well, what does that mean? Okay, well, this is going to come up in the program. We're going to go into this. And in fact, we're going to go into it with some help from Glenn Beck, who had one of the best segments that I've seen him do ever. And we're going to share it with you probably in hour number 3. But let's talk about this. Jeff Merkley, he is a senator from Oregon. And so the senators get up and they argue this and that. And this is his argument, which basically makes the case and is probably, Brock, you said it was probably the most honest thing we heard all day yesterday, right? I mean, it's true.
It probably was.
I mean,
he probably didn't mean it that way.
Agreed. I agreed. I don't think he meant this, but he did say it, and it is accurate. This is the senator from Oregon basically saying, look, if this thing passes, the Democrat candidates are toast. I wonder why he would say such a thing. It's odd.
This bill is about stopping groups from voting who tend to vote for Democrats. This is, again, about rigging the next election.
Or it's about you not doing what you always do. Don't you wonder how many members of the House and Senate actually were elected? Literally, how many actually we voted for and how many they cheated for? I would imagine it's a significant number. I would. And you have to. If this ballot measure passes, if this passes, rather, we're going to have a really hard time ever getting elected again. That's kind of the purpose here, because if you need to cheat to be elected, then you are wholly un-American. And you would be what we would call a traitor, which happens to be the title of today's show, curiously. Let's listen to Patty Murray. She's a senator from Washington. She looks more like an albino than ever. And she's like, look, I'm super upset that this measure would not allow students to vote with a photo ID from their school. Well, that's like saying, you know what, I'm going to go to my local library and I'm going to use that. No, we're going to actually streamline this because every other country on planet Earth, minus Somalia, have gotten this done, right? Every single one. Here is the senator from Washington State.
That is not the half of it. Just consider all the people who will face new challenges just to vote for no good reason. If you are a student who just moved to start college, Republicans will make it harder for you to vote. Because if this bill passes, you will need to show a photo ID and proof of citizenship in every single state. But a student ID won't count. Many tribal IDs also won't be enough under the new Republican restrictions.
It's almost like we're hitting all the sources of the grift, right? So what do you need? If you're down on the numbers and you need numbers to win, you need to find a pot of people that give you fast numbers. Hence, illegal aliens. Hence, people on reservations, tribal lands. Hence, right? People in nursing homes, the homeless. What? Them too? Yes. Who else? Students. There are 1.1 million foreign students, I guess, right now in America. I think the number's probably higher than that. It seems like it's a low ball. That would be a nice pot of people to tap into to get to vote Democrat, don't you think? Yeah, it's almost like we're trying to stop that, Patty, sweetheart. Yeah. She says it's pure and simple. She's like, this is what's going to happen. Here's a good reason, Patty. She's like, for no good reason, a student ID won't work. Well, because people cheat. And we know that. We're tired of that. This is nothing new, right? We just want it to end. And you should want it to end too. You should. Here's Amy Klobuchar. Amy Klobuchar, who fancies herself, I don't know, on the short list for the Democrats again to run for president in 2028. They've got nothing, no bench, no people, no stars, no message, no money, no chance, which is why they're desperate to die on the altar of this bill. And she says, look, the Act's provisions would lead to Elon Musk being in charge of the voter rolls. Really?
Their private voter data is sent to Homeland Security to go through some Elon Musk designed computer system. It's not what people want in this country right now. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor.
Actually, it is Amy, who seems to be going to the same hairstylist as Debbie Wasserman Schultz. The Save America Act does involve states sending their voter rolls to the Department of Homeland Security because we don't trust the states. And the Department of Homeland Security is going to cross-check your voter rolls against its database to identify and remove non-citizens. I don't want that, says Amy Klobuchar. No, duh. Mike Lee, senator from Utah, he gets up and he's like, look, Democrats are lying on the Senate floor. It's outrageous, and everybody who's paying attention knows it.
Okay, I know it's late. I got a good excuse for being up late. I was on the Senate floor late tonight debating the merits of the Save America Act. One of the arguments that I've seen and heard made over and over again on the Senate floor and on social media and elsewhere, but including on the Senate floor multiple times today, is this absurd argument that goes something like this. If the Save America Act passes, then if you don't have a passport, you're not going to be able to vote. Or if you can't find your documents and can't afford to spend a lot of money getting those documents, you're not going to be able to vote. Therefore, it's going to disenfranchise people who don't have their documents on hand and don't have a lot of disposable income to spend on it. Look, all of this is a lie. Go to the House-passed bill, the Save America Act, the same bill that we turned to today. Go to page 12, line 22, and the text that follows from that and onto the next page. It makes very clear you don't have to shell out a dime. You can't find your documents, you never had them, your dog ate them, your house burned down, whatever. No problem. We've made accommodation for that. If you've gotten married and you've changed your name to where it's your married last name, we're taking care of that too. You can handle that by affidavit and put the burden on the state to track down the background documentation without shelling out a dime, even if you don't have any of the documentation because your house burned down, your dog ate it, or you never had it, or whatever. You've got to stop lying about this, Democrats. Because the fact is, the more you lie about this, the more it calls into question your other specious arguments, including the fact that voter fraud supposedly never happens, or that non-citizens never register to vote and never do vote. You're exposing those as lies as well. But you're lying about the bill. Stop it.
Stop it. Now, and don't tell us that people aren't voting. Or don't say it's such a negligible problem. It really doesn't matter. It's just a couple people, or it's just 5%, or it's just a rounding error, or it's just a zero, right? Oh, it's a glitch. It was a coding problem. Oh my gosh. Well, because here we go. I remember this news report, 2021, New York City. A television news babe drops it on you. Hey, we're super excited because nearly 1 million illegal aliens, if this measure passes in the city, are going to be able to vote in local and state elections. This was 5 years ago.
And now to politics. New York City is on the verge of becoming one of the largest places in the country to give non-citizens the right to vote in local elections. Under this proposed bill, about 800,000 non-citizens would all be able to cast ballots to pick the mayor, city council members, and other municipal positions. However, non-citizens still would not be able to vote for president, federal positions, or state elections like next year's gubernatorial race.
But if you could vote for mayor and city council and other things, that's how you get a socialist communist, ladies and gentlemen. As your mayor, it's like, what? It's almost like we can connect the dots. It's super complicated. This is the crap that we've had enough with. I've had enough of this. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, you know, voter fraud has been as pervasive as like daycare and hospice fraud in America. So we're going to take you back 10 years to 2016 and a Fox News report about rampant election fraud. It's been going on for a while. Next. I think you're stupid. Okay, so I want to tell you guys, it's one of those things that is hard to get behind. When you hear collagen, you know what I hear? I think of people getting like collagen in their lips, or like something zhuzhing up their cheekbones, or some weird injection to make you look fluffier or puffier or whatever. Right? I'm like, collagen, like we all need it. And you know that over time, as everything else that you have that you need goes away because getting older sucks. You're like, okay, well, so what? I lost my collagen. But it actually has a profound effect on your body. And there's a reason that I've gotten in touch with my friends at Native Path to see if they want to be a part of this thing that I'm doing, where I'm now taking collagen every day, and so is Brock. Now, collagen makes up nearly a third of the protein in your body. It's second only to water as your body's most common substance. It's found in every single organ, in every tissue. It's highly concentrated in your skin, in your internal organs, your bones, and your connective tissue. It is essential for the health and longevity of your connective tissues. So if you ever feel your body's kind of like falling apart, your collagen levels are likely depleted. Collagen is what helps your joints, your ligaments, and your bones withstand years of tension and stretching. And type 1 collagen is 10 times stronger than steel. That's what we lose. That's what you gain when you drink this. 1 scoop. I've got 10 health benefits. I could go through all of them and tell you. This dissolves in anything. You could put it in water. You could put it in coffee. You could put it in juice. You could do it in anything. It dissolves almost immediately, easy to get in, and it's so beneficial for you, okay? 10 things that it does for you. I'm going to tell you quickly. Skin elasticity and hydration, muscle mass, hair and nail health. That's huge. Hair and nails. Joint strength and flexibility, gut health, digestion. Natural energy levels, brain health, heart health, and bone density. Other than that, I've got nothing. This is up to 45% off right now. This is the deal. Get nativepath.com/Wendy. It's up to 45% special offer on my link. Get nativepath.com/Wendy. Get nativepath.com/Wendy. This is what we're drinking. One of these, 10 grams. And sometimes you want to up it to 20. And their website is a great explainer of why this is so big. I don't want that creepy arm skin, right? I don't like the crepitus in my knees when I stretch or what have you. I don't want my cartilage and elasticity getting all fudged up. So I'm going to fight it right before my 56th birthday. I'm starting this. So join me. GetNativePath.com/Wendy. Up to 45% off.
Did you get an email to Wendy Bell Radio at Gmail?
From?
It should be password reset BPD or BDP radio.
No.
I'll have to figure that out.
Oh, we were an editor's pick for a hot second.
Take it.
That's all right. Let's see. There we go. Right on. Number 3. Thanks, Al. Thanks for sharing that.
182 comments already. Let's go. We need to start getting 1,000 comments.
Ooh, that's what we're trying to do. So right underneath the video box, it's all the comments. And if you rumble, give us a thumbs up. That's huge. That's your vote. It's precious. It's yours. You get 1 a day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then follow us and then drop us a comment or 50. I don't want to ask you questions to point whore. I like to hear what you have to say. Radio program. You know, I think as early as the beginning of time, cheaters were cheating on planet Earth, right? As early as the very beginning of civilization and humanity, right? I can see cavemen beating each other to become leaders of whatever group of people, and lying and wheeling and dealing, and that's just way it's human nature, I guess. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. If you don't have faith in your vote, in your community's people, to not rob you of your vote, to not put thumb drives or suspicious memory sticks into computers that fudge up the count, to not stuff ballot boxes, to not lie and say that there was a water main break. This is a big deal. It's been going on for a long time. 2016, Brock sent me this morning. I was like, oh, so there's a guy on Fox. He's got that ultimate anchorman voice, like Anchorman. His name is Eric Shawn, right? But he did actually a really great story. He was talking to Maria Bartiromo in 2016 about voter fraud in multiple states. He talks about fake absentee ballots in New York, voter identities being stolen in Kentucky, cash for votes, and even an Ohio poll worker who voted for herself and her sister who's in a coma and has been for 10 years. Let's flash back to 2016 and hear if anything's changed.
For years, I've covered and investigated voter and election fraud cases here at Fox News, and you won't believe what we found. Take a look at this. These are absentee ballots that were faked. Prosecutors in Troy, New York said politicians simply stole elections by handing in fraudulent ballots that they filled out as real votes. The unsuspecting voters we talked to said they did not even know their votes were robbed. So you didn't write that?
I did not.
You didn't cast a ballot?
I did not.
Did you vote?
No.
Did you fill out an absentee ballot?
Nope.
Did you fill out an absentee ballot application?
Nope, I didn't fill out any of those.
So your vote was a fraud?
It was.
In Kentucky, prosecutors said 20 public officials stole elections by buying votes, spending $400,000 to buy 8,000 votes over several elections. You sold your vote?
Mm-hmm.
How much did you sell your vote for?
$25.
Well, in Cincinnati, veteran poll worker Hillary Richardson was charged with voting in the 2008 and 2012 presidential election, not once, but 2 and 3 times. She pled no contest to 4 counts, including voting for her sister, who had been in a coma for a decade.
And in Pennsylvania, tampering with machines, fake votes, rampant non-citizen voting in Philly. Let's listen in 2016.
In Pennsylvania, 7 election officials have been hit with election fraud charges just in the last year and a half, from cases of illegal voting to tampering with voting machines and adding phony votes. You know, a 2012 report by a Philadelphia Republican city commissioner found voting by non-registered individuals, voting divisions with more votes than voters, individuals voting more than once, and voting by non-U.S. citizens. And election fraud actually hit the race for the White House in the 2008 race. Democratic operatives in Indiana were convicted of faking signatures on the presidential petitions that put then Senator Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton on the ballot.
Wait a minute. There were so many fake signatures on the petitions that it's entirely likely Barack Obama would not have qualified to be on the ballot in 2007. Listen.
So many signatures were phony that authorities said the president may not have actually had enough signatures to qualify for the primary ballot. Is that your signature on this?
That's not my signature.
Did you sign this petition for Barack Obama?
No.
You did not?
No.
I did not sign for Barack Obama.
So someone forged this?
That's correct.
Well, so this is how it worked in Indiana. It is unbelievable. You need 500 signatures from each congressional district in Indiana. In South Bend, President Obama qualified with 534 signatures. But prosecutors said 100 to 200 signatures were faked, so that brings the Obama number down below the legal number that he needed to qualify. The prosecutor told me, had this been caught at the time, Maria, the president probably would not have qualified for the ballot and would have been bounced from that primary ballot. But all this fraud wasn't caught until 3 years after the election.
This is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. In that Indiana case, 6 Democratic operatives I found were convicted in 2011, years later, for forging about 150 signatures on Barack Obama's 2008 primary petition in one congressional district, reducing the 534 submissions he got below the 500 required threshold. He wouldn't have qualified to be on the primary ballot, ladies and gentlemen. Are you crazy? No, this is what they do. Remember yesterday we were talking about getting paid $5 in San Francisco to fill out petitions? This is how it happens. And I'm going to say it's a lot more pervasive than we think. I don't know if it ever benefits a Republican, though. And isn't that interesting? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, the intelligence community actually hid intelligence about Chinese and Russian interference in the 2020 election. Wait, what? Because they wanted to get Trump? Wait for it. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. You can't make it up. Cannot make it up. All right, I've got a present for Brock. for somebody who thinks that I don't pay attention to him or I don't care about his wellness.
Someone said that? Ooh, I'll take it.
Daily multi and iron omega-3 vitamin. Let's see what's in this from Healthy Cell. See, what I like about Healthy Cell is if you look at the ingredients on something like this, which is like the most ultimate vitamin booster of your world, right? It has like everything you take 7 different pills for. And so what it allows you to do in a microgel formula where you just squeeze it in your mouth, swallow it, and it's absorbed into your bloodstream and gets to your cells, which is the point, right? You can toss out a lot of those pills and have this. I'll tell you what's in it if I can microscopically read this. It has vitamin A, C, D, E, thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, vitamin B, something that's very small, folate, another vitamin B that's very small, biotin, iron, things I can't pronounce, magnesium, zinc, selenium, manganese, chromium, something else I can't pronounce, and a skosh of sodium. All of that for you, 1 pack, bada bing. Yes. This is how it comes. Right? So you go to healthycell.com/Wendy. I'm going to bust this open. Oops. Oh, hold on. And let's see what the taste is. Peach mango. There you go. Daily multivitamin. Do you have a multivitamin? And you're like, well, I take one. It's for women over 50 because I'm worried about osteoporosis. You're like, well, I'm a man and I take mine because I needed for one thing. One, gone, done, delicious. No, swallowing some giant horse pill and then pooping it out because oftentimes your stomach acid doesn't work anymore to digest it over the age of 50 because getting older sucks. But we're fighting back, damn it. And I'm fighting back with Healthy Cell. I really do enjoy their products. All I can tell you is I'm a one-trick pony. I got my new pack. I was like, thank God. I was super nervous when I did the show the other day and I didn't have it. All right, I'm going to give this to Brock. So hold on. Brock, come here. Come here. I want him to take it. I want to know what the flavor is. You have to take this, though. Peach mango is the flavor. Yeah. So I want to watch you take it. I want to see what you're doing. Look, and this is what Healthy Cell does, is they go around the pill and they give it to you in this microgel, which is revolutionary. But they also put a lot of stuff together and make it delicious to taste. I don't know. Seems like a really reasonable idea to me.
Ready?
Yeah. Well, you have to put yourself on. Here we go. There we go. All right. Let's see what you got. Peach mango. It's so easy, too. If you have problem, you can dissolve it in water if you want. You can add it to juice.
It's like a smoothie.
I don't know why you would.
It tastes like a smoothie.
Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's got everything you need.
Yes.
Good. All right. So there you go. Healthycell.com/Wendy. We don't muck around when it comes to health. And there are a couple things that I am very enthusiastic about. I appreciate your great comments about bloodflow7.com/Wendy. By Juvenon, because this is the product that I take every single day. Healthy blood flow and circulation. Improve for maximum absorption and extended duration. I give you a challenge, and this is a real challenge. Look, they say that it could, your stamina and your focus and all of this stuff kind of starts to wane 40s to 50s, right? And you start to notice it in silly ways, like I notice it raking leaves in the yard. Look, I'm fit. I'm active, but I'm middle-aged, right? And so I was raking and bagging a hell of a lot of leaves. And every now and again, I'd have to stop and just be like, whew. And I was like, what's that? I don't have to stop and take a breath. And I did. Started taking Healthy Cell, or started taking Juvenon's Blood Flow 7. That changed. Not only am I bagging leaves, I'm walking up steep inclines in the park by my house with Murphy. I'm also kicking ass in my workouts, and I'm now bench pressing with 22.5-pound dumbbells. Like that's huge for me. That's a big deal for me. I'm doing push-ups. I'm doing swings like I never did. I can do more reps. I can do it harder. And I'm not winded. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Try it and get in touch with me. This is less than $30. Everything they have is 30% off if you use my name. Less than $30 for a month. You have nothing to lose. I know you're like, she keeps talking about this. She's really harping on it because I believe it's going to help your life. I do.
I will say, of all our sponsors, we take ones that we think will actually benefit.
Yes.
Or we've had benefit from ourselves.
Yes, 100%.
It's like you always say with like the Irelands and the, we call these people too.
I bought gold and silver.
Yeah.
And not a little bit, right? I'm like, I guess I should probably buy from you and see what that's like. And they're like, really? I'm like,
I was going to, but that guy got $25 to vote.
Mm-hmm.
With inflation, that's probably 50 now. That's a day's worth pay.
Well, not if you're in the Senate.
I'm talking if you're here in Wendy Bell Radio.
Oh, a little dig there.
No, what?
Do we want to go into the dollars and cents of your life, Brock? I think everybody would love to know all about that.
There's a lot of sense.
That's so rude. Tell the truth in 3 seconds or less.
In 3 seconds
Just say it real fast. Just
what do you
say
mean?
Just say it.
Say what?
She takes good care of me.
What? I don't like to lie.
5, 4.
It's merely a statement.
Really?
2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family.
We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level. We're going to win economically. We're going to win with the economy. We're going to win with military. We're going to win with healthcare and for our veterans. We're going to win with every single facet. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live and on the clock. Hey, a great reminder for you. We are struggling. Well, I wouldn't say struggling. We're trying to get to 8 million podcast downloads. We got about 500,000 to go to get there. So if you haven't yet downloaded us onto your device, I hope you do so wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Wendy Bell Radio. It's simple, and I think you'll like us. Okay. Can you imagine everybody in the world wanting to do you in? Can you imagine being kind of unbeknownst to you, maybe, that you coming down a golden escalator and just being like, look, I think we need a new approach. I don't like the way this country is being run right now. This is not the way we should be doing business. We shouldn't be allowing and placating terror. We shouldn't be everybody's doormat. We shouldn't be funding everybody else's worlds. And yet we are. And so I'm going to come down this golden escalator with my beautiful wife, and I'm going to put everything on the line and risk it. And say, I love this country more than anything. And I'll share my knowledge and do what I can to save it. And then have everybody hate you for that. I mean, that had to be like, knives out for Donald Trump. I think he knew what his candidacy was. It was the ultimate upset of the apple cart. It was standard business as usual. Grifting, thieving, frauding, all of this stuff, right? And then one guy comes out and he's like, yeah, how about not anymore? And he was public enemy number one. And he was public enemy number one during his own presidency by his own intelligence operation, if you will, and community. And I want to read you this from justthenews.com, John Solomon breaking this down. Here's your title, the headline. I mean, this is how far the deep state went to derail this president and to plant roadside bombs along his journey in his first term. U.S. intel hid Chinese 2020 election meddling from Trump because they opposed his policies. So you have an intelligence community that knows that China and Russia are trying to fiddle with our elections, whether they're trying to get in some fake driver's licenses, fake ballots, whatever it is. But because the intelligence community hated Donald Trump because they were deep staters, they hid that information, hoping that China would help Joe Biden. That's dastardly. That's devious. Analysts inside the U.S. intelligence community sought to conceal evidence of Chinese influence efforts from President Donald Trump during the 2020 election, with analysts saying they didn't want their intel used by, quote, that vulgarian in the Oval Office to pursue policies toward China that they personally disagreed with. Who the hell are they? They're not the president. So I don't really give a fat rip what they think. Who are these unelected bureaucrats? Who are these congressional staffers who are making all the decisions? Who's running the freaking country? That's the biggest question. The revelation is found within a January 2021 report written by and never before reported upon comments by analytic ombudsman Barry Zuloff, who conducted a review of the spy community's handling of Russian versus Chinese meddling efforts during the 2020 election. You know, it was very safe and secure. When all the votes are counted, Joe Biden's going to win. I don't know, maybe because we got Russia and China helping us out a little bit. Feels like it. Among his conclusions, this Zuloff guy, was that intelligence analysts downplayed China's actions because they had disdain for Trump and they didn't want to support the policies and priorities of his administration toward China, which they personally disagreed with. Well, Just the News reported this week that the U.S. intelligence community has known since early 2020 that Beijing also gained access to American voter registration data and used that information to conduct opinion analysis related to the presidential election between Trump and then former Vice President Joe Biden. This is not the only piece of evidence pointing to Chinese government election influence efforts during the 2020 election, although much about China's activities in 2020 remain classified. Just the News conducted a thorough review of publicly available intelligence assessments, federal indictments, foreign government warnings, and cybersecurity firm analyses. There is credible evidence that Chinese government-linked cyber hackers and Chinese social media troll farms took aim at the U.S. presidential election in 2020 and sought to undercut Trump during his run against now former President Biden. There are also indicators that Chinese intelligence and law enforcement agencies, China's Ministry of State Security and its Ministry of Public Security, also played a role in 2020. Well, who's this Zuloff guy? Well, he's a longtime intelligence officer who wrote in his January 2021 report, quote, given analytic differences in the way China and Russia analysts examined their targets, China analysts appeared hesitant to assess Chinese actions as undue influence or interference. These analysts appeared reluctant to have their analysis on China brought forward because they tended to disagree with the administration's policies, saying, in effect, I really don't want to use our intelligence to support this president or what his agenda is. So wait a minute, you've got people who we pay for, who are employed by the Department of Justice, by whatever, by us, who are supposed to investigate Did China influence elections? Did Russia influence? And so they find that, yes, in fact, China did fiddle with and meddle with our election. But we're not going to really share that because their goal was to undo Donald Trump, which ultimately was successful because of a lot of different things. But we're not going to report that to this president. Did anybody tell this guy the truth? Mike Pence didn't. Mike Pompeo didn't. Bill Barr didn't, right? All of the members of Congress didn't when they didn't live up to their constitutional job and listen to their electors, their voters say, hey, we witnessed something on election day. We need to bring it to your attention before you certify this election because it was wrong. And we've got proof, and we have affidavits, and we signed these things. They've been notarized. And it was it was the job of Congress to listen to those voices. And they had those voices arrested and prosecuted and thrown in jail because 2020 was stolen and January 6th was a smokescreen cover-up of it. And then the ensuing 2 years was all about January 6th, about this insurrection, about these terrible people who tried to overthrow the government with no weapons, wrapped in the American flag, hopeful on that day that it wasn't going to happen, that they weren't going to watch. It happened, and it did. And it can't happen again. So we know China interfered. We know Russia interfered. We know our intelligence community knew they interfered. But the analysts studying Chinese interference decided not to share anything with President Trump. It's sort of like knowing Thomas Crooks is on that roof across the way, and it looks like he's got a rifle of some nature. But we're not going to say anything. The roof was too slanted for us to pay attention to. Really. How many different ways did they want this president dead? Did they want him dethroned? Many ways. And then yesterday, John Solomon drops on, I think it's Steve Bannon's show, he drops this bombshell. It's kind of like this aside. He's like, oh yeah, by the way, we also have some information coming out that Zelensky in Ukraine was actively working in 2024 using money that U.S. taxpayers provided, that we didn't vote for, but our senators approved, billions of dollars to go to Ukraine to fight in this war against Russia, bad guy Russia. Except they were funneling some of that money back to the United States to do what? To prop up Joe Biden's presidential reelection and try to screw Trump from taking office again. Is that true? Let's listen in to John Solomon.
There are scores of raw intelligence reports that show Chinese meddling in the American election. And there's one report raising concern that Ukraine was engaged in a plot to do something bad in the 2024 election to help Joe Biden. I want to repeat that. There is intercepted intelligence that the Trump administration has had for many, many months, in which it is suggested by Ukrainian officials that they're going to try to help Joe Biden win the election using American taxpayer money.
Now, well, it's funny because I don't see any huge headlines at Reuters or AP or the New York Times or any of these rags. They want to tell you that everybody's against this war with Iran, right? Nobody wants to talk about this. Election interference, meddling, foreign countries, deep staters. Why? Well, when we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, it's almost like it's all a giant grift. Nick Shirley hits the streets of Los Angeles and uncovers something wild. The teaser beezer video and what a woman did on the sidewalk next to him as he was recording that, I mean, left me speechless. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. But other than that, it's
so I have
fine.
a question.
Yes, sir.
So they need to put in the uniforms for the softball team.
Yes, yeah.
He asked if we wanted Wendy's gold dusters.
I don't care.
Or WB Army or Wendy Bell Radio. I'll let you guys decide. How about that?
So, and the reason why he's bringing up the gold dusters, show the picture. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's me with braces when I was, I don't know, 13, 12, 8, whatever it was. I don't know. I had a wicked feather going on. Anyway, so that was the gold. I was a gold duster. And so Brock thought it would be funny if he.
So we could put just gold dusters on the back. WBR gold dusters here.
Or Wendy Bell Radio. Wendy Bell Radio is more in your face. That pisses off people who don't like me, which I think is funny.
Or WB Army.
Nobody will know what that is.
Okay.
But we do. So what do you guys think? And we will go with whatever your recommendation is. How about that?
I'm seeing a lot of gold dusters and Wendy Bell Radio.
No, gold.
Wendy's gold dusters. Wendy Bell Radio. Wendy Bell Radio.
Hi, Nancy P. Good to see you, babe. Thanks for weighing in. Hey, people. You. Hi, Sherry. What's going on, Hal? Hallie or Hal? Hall 1969. Hello. Oh, by the way, disinfectwithsniper.com. Disinfectwithsniper.com. I took mine home to refill it, and now I'm naked without it. I don't have a to show me. Wendy Bell Radio, Wendy Bell Radio, Wendy Bell Radio, Wendy Bell Radio, Wendy Bell Radio. I'm thinking it's Wendy Bell Radio.
All right. I'll just text them right now.
Look at you guys. Look at you go. Disinfectwithsniper.com. Remember, our friend is raising money for his local library. And so he's selling some prints of really pretty artwork. We're celebrating the 250th birthday of America. And I love that. I love that. So you can get that there. You can get Sniper, hospital grade disinfectant. You could get Knockout. If you've got a smell in your house, in your car, somewhere that you cannot get rid of, I want you to get Knockout, N-O-K, Knockout, disinfectwithsniper.com, and use that, and you will kill whatever the odor is, whether it's cat pee, whether it's poop, whether it's animal odor, cigarette smoke, cigar smoke, mildew, whatever. You're going to kill the odor with Knockout.
No matter how stanky you are.
Dear Wendy and Brock, do I have time? How much time do I have?
You got a minute.
Dear Wendy and Brock, this is from K Lang 63. And Kirk, I want to thank you for this. He's from Centralia, Washington. Dear Wendy and Brock, I got my Wendy coffee mug and I really like it. But mostly I want to express my thanks and appreciation for your part in this world of craziness. Your common sense values are so much appreciated. I used to listen to the mainstream news and stumbled upon Dan Bongino. We mentioned downloading the Rumble app. So it began, I started surfing through it, all the other podcasters, and I found you. And from the moment I heard and watched you, I've been hooked. You're smart and beautiful and such a pleasure to have in my life. Thank you to Wendy and Brock. K Lang 63. You said hello to me twice so far on your show. XOXO.
You know what I heard?
Well, now it's third time. Thank you.
You know what I heard?
What'd you hear?
They didn't get a Brock mug.
Well, they can't because they sold out. So we still have a few of our magazines. AR. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio program. You know, I don't want to just hopscotch off this just the news bombshell. I mean, if you can't count on your FBI, if you can't count on your CIA to put whatever their political preferences are aside and do the job that they were hired to do in those agencies, then you got a major problem. And we have a major problem in this country. We have people who believe it is patriotic to do whatever it is that's opposite what President Trump wants. It's that juvenile. It's that petty. It's that un-American. It's traitorous. Traitors. That's what we have. We have traitors. That used to mean something. Being called that was like, it would make you wince because it had consequences. It had meaning baked into the letters. Traitor. You have forsaken your country. You're the worst of the worst. We have a lot of these people still entrenched in our government. It's amazing that President Trump got as much as he did done in his first term. And he's called out the fraud, and he has established Vice President Vance as the czar of fraud, of the investigations. Go out there and make it stop. We're going to pull the plug once and for all. We're tired of this life support system limping along as business as usual. This is always the way it's been. It's just always the way it's going to be. It's too big to break. It's not even worth it. Let's not even talk about it. We're not even going to bring it up on the floor for a vote. Screw off, this president is saying. Because America is tired of paying for it. We're tired of getting the bad leaders that are cheated for more than others. Nick Shirley, YouTuber extraordinaire, guy who just asked questions and blew the lid off of Minneapolis and the fraud there, is now taking the show on the road to California. And here he is in Southern Cal. He's in Los Angeles. He's going to be hitting the strip malls of Van Nuys, California, which are just a couple miles away from where I grew up. And he's gonna address something that's pretty serious: hospice fraud. Dr. Oz has highlighted it. It's giant. And the egregious nature of the theft in Los Angeles County. More hospice providers there than everywhere else in the country combined. It's a little obnoxious, right? So we're gonna show you this little teaser beezer that sets up some of the stuff, door knocking that he does coming up in the next segment. Here's Nick on the street. He's like, look, this is where we are. We're going to show you what's happening as we door knock all these hospice. Well, there's a woman. We're going to cut the video short before a woman, literally as he's recording, homeless woman, comes up maybe 30 yards away from him, drops her pants, and literally squats on the sidewalk and urinates all over the sidewalk. Cars are driving by. Nick is recording, and he's like, seriously? This woman is peeing in broad daylight? No shame? Well, welcome to Los Angeles. Here's the video.
Here in California, what makes this hospice and home healthcare fraud so hard to crack down on, take for example this one right here, All Day Hospice Care. They have billed $3.1 million, and per beneficiary, that's about $6,000, and 24 claims per patient with only 2 codes, which means 2 services. They've had over 505 patients, and they started billing in 2023 and accumulated $3.1 million in 19 months. And that is over 12,000 claims. The velocity of the billing here is what leads me to believe this is potentially fraudulent. And what makes this hard to track is that they then just rent small little suites inside of these kind of buildings, and they run their operations from there. And once any sort of suspicion comes, they then leave, close down shop, and who knows where they go. Are they going back to Armenia? Are they going back to Russia? Are they going back to their native country? Or are they just moving to another building inside of a location here in Los Angeles? And these areas where these people are committing this fraud, it just looks dilapidated. You have storefronts that are completely closed down, homeless people walk on the streets, these businesses are all boarded up, and they're prying on people who are on the verge of death to make all their money. That's what hospice is. But that is what the business model of the hospice is they just literally rent out these small little suites, charge millions of dollars over the years.
Okay, he goes charge millions of dollars over, and you can tell he's distracted, like his camera guy, whomever's got the iPhone who's running it, is like, Nick, right over your right shoulder is something. And he looks, and this woman just goes, whoosh, drops her pants, pees all over the sidewalk, and he's like, good pee? And she starts yammering gibber jaw, mental illness, homelessness. Wow. Okay. Is that maybe foreshadowing of what's to come? Yeah, it is. Don't miss it. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
She said
she'd been masturbating too, she told him.
Yes.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you for sharing.
So much for the privacy of your own home.
Like what? So Dan Ireland came over to my house, gave me an estimate on one of these panels that I need to have done, electrical panels. And his estimate was grossly below what the other guy's was. And I reached out to Dan yesterday. I'm like, was that for one panel or for two? He's like, no, that was only for one. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Like, not thank God. I would have loved his estimate to be for both.
Right.
But he's like, no, but I can give you, or if you want to take a picture of the other one, I'll give you an estimate for both. Like, it's like this, and they don't mind. They don't mind you calling Ireland Contracting 1-800-NEW-ROOF and being like, I don't even know what ballpark a new roof is going to cost. Well, I'm going to need a new roof here sooner rather than later. I know it.
Me too.
I know it. I know it. And so you go out and you're like, you're not going to go. If you're going to spend something, if you're going to have a $20,000, I don't even know what it costs. What does a new roof cost?
Well, it depends on the size of your house.
It depends on the materials. It depends on everything, right? You need to get multiple estimates. They understand that. They'll come out to your house. They'll give you a written, in-depth, meaningful proposal, and it's good for a year. Who does that? They're not bothered by it, and they don't charge you for it. And because of that, you're almost like, thank you. I appreciate not getting boned by somebody. And that's Ireland Contracting. They're just good people. 1-800-NEW-ROOF, home exterior construction. Put on a new roof. You need new windows. They're your people. You need some siding. You need gutters and downspouts. Pivotal. Soffit and fascia. Put in a skylight. Get some electrical work done. IrelandContracting.com, 1-800-NEW-ROOF. I almost was going to ask you if you think we should have left the video of the woman, but it's like,
no, because it's
unfortunate and nobody likes to see that, but
right.
It's just bizarre. It's bizarre.
And the worst part is you guys saw the video. She wasn't behind the tree. She was facing the street on the street side of the tree.
It'd be like me just being like,
right, drop and trowel right there.
Right here.
Yeah.
No awareness, care. Like, that's some kooky stuff, right? Taking a poop on the street. On the sidewalk.
I mean, even if you're a dude and you're going to take a leak on a tree, you're going to be like,
at least you try to like,
you're going to pretend you're not doing it.
You go to your car, open the door, pee on the tire, something
I've done
like that. Right. Sure. Like,
yeah,
I live with 6-7 penises. Well aware of how they work.
Yeah. You kind of hide it unless you're in the woods with your buddies. And then you're just like, what? Just give me a tree. Give me something to aim at.
I'd be off marching around, getting a tick. Trying to like not pee on my pants.
I know somebody on the golf course.
Yeah, and then you buzzed around and caught me with my pants down. You're like, you could have gone over there, and I'm like, I didn't expect you to buzz around.
I didn't know you were there.
I went,
I'm like, worst part was all I was doing was going to the next hole.
Probably scared him to death. Too.
I almost wrecked.
Anyway, there you go. There you go.
So there was a fight for a hole. I can't believe you did that.
I can't believe you buzzed around. Why didn't you go behind a tree? Oh, I didn't know you were
trees. There were it was like one tree with woods on the other side.
Texas bullion exchange gone. It's never went. Could have went. It's never went. It's not in no world. Is it went? Never.
I'm gonna went to your house and steal your gold.
I try, you guys. I really do. Baby steps, basic vocabulary, subject verb agreement.
Tell us about the gold.
Okay. Put your family back on the gold standard. I think this is shocking when you consider that the value of the dollar has lost roughly 90% since we left the gold standard in 1971. But the value of gold has gone up 7,000% in the same time. Down 90%, up 7,000. I don't know, which one am I going with, right? I'm going to have a lot of gold, a lot of cash, and I'm going to stuff it here in my mattress or into this chair. which does nothing for you, or I'm going to buy gold and silver from a company, by the way, that I have bought from twice and will probably buy from a thrice time, that gives you a guarantee. You buy gold from us, say you buy it for $4, Brock's cost, right? $4. Well, what if the value of it goes down to $1 and I want to sell my gold back? Well, Texas Bullion Exchange says you can sell it back to us for the same $4 that you bought. But wait a minute, what if the value? We guarantee you your price back to you, never a penny less. That's crazy. WendyLovesGold.com. WendyLovesGold.com. The program locks in the value of your gold, so when it's time to sell, you're going to get every bit of what you paid for it, or obviously more. Take advantage of this offer. Give them a call, 855-927-5557. Remember, you can get gold IRAs. You can roll all or part of your IRA into precious metals. Tax deferred, penalty free. WendyLovesGold.com. Me likes.
I couldn't even pay for postage.
Oh, God. On you. And I'm not a good math person, but my rudimentary mathematical skills tell me that this isn't adding up. All right. California has 2,279 Medicare hospice organizations. 2,279. Florida has 208. Wait a minute. Florida, whose population is undoubtedly older than California's, has 208 hospice organizations that get money from Medicare. California, 10 times that and some. California has 6.3 million residents over the age of 65. Florida has 4.9 million. So less than twice the elderly population, yet California has over 10 times the Medicare certified hospice organizations. Now, it gets worse when you zoom in. LA County alone has 1,923 hospice providers. I misspoke earlier. That's more than 36 states combined, and it's 33 times more than Florida, just in LA County, even though LA County has hundreds of thousands fewer seniors than the entire state of Florida. Does that make sense to you? 500 hospice agencies are operating within a 3-mile radius in the San Fernando Valley. I am from the San Fernando Valley. That's a valley girl for you. Oh my God, right? 89 companies are registered to a single building in Van Nuys. Single building. 89 of them. The building looks like a dilapidated no-tell motel, right? Where there's like the courtyard, that's the parking lot, and everybody has a balcony, Brock.
You pay by the hour.
Exactly. The bed is something you wouldn't want to lie down on. No black light, right? That's what we're talking about. So Nick Shirley goes, YouTuber guy, Nick Shirley, and he does more than any media organization does. And he's got a new friend, a new person who's his David. I don't know this woman's name, but she is deeply bothered by this egregious assault on our taxpayer dollars. So let's start here. He starts at a daycare at a 1-bedroom apartment. Like, who in their right mind would allow that to happen? And they're like 7 kids who are supposedly enrolled at this daycare in a 1-bedroom apartment in Van Nuys, California. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Nick Shirley.
So essentially, a house just like this is receiving money from government subsidies without actually running a daycare. Meanwhile, they get money from the government as they run their fake daycares. Now let's go to another one that's even more concerning, as kids are left all alone. Now we're at the Jama Shukri Family Childcare. This place is not in a shopping plaza. It's not anywhere near any place that looks like a place where a daycare would be. In fact, it's actually in one of these apartments right here. So they're able to have daycares inside apartment buildings?
Yes. So I've come across many of these
Some of these are on the third story of an apartment complex. It's only 1 bedroom, and yet the capacity is for 8 kids.
We just arrived at the daycare. We have 2 kids out here. I don't know if they're members of the daycare. There's no oversight right here. Can we talk to your teacher? Is your teacher there? So this is the first child we've ever encountered at one of these daycares. There's 2 kids out here right now, and we're gonna see if we can talk to the
Licensee. It is, according to this paperwork, Shukri Jama.
Can we talk to the adult?
He is not here.
Not here.
Yeah.
So you guys all by yourself?
Yeah. Knock on the door.
No one's here.
No one is not here.
Okay, so you guys are all by yourself?
Okay. I can see by myself.
Yeah, okay, that's concerning. No one's watching those children, and they're all by themselves.
My heart is breaking right now. I can't. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and what makes you so emotional as a mother, seeing that those kids are just out by themselves?
Seeing the kids all by themselves. It's supposed to be a licensed daycare, and there's no adult anywhere. What is going on?
And the crazy thing is, California allocates $6 billion to childcare and daycare facilities just like these, and there are over 39,000 facilities in the state. The California Department of Social Services even found an error rate of over 1.6% in their own audits.
A 1-bedroom apartment for 7 to 9 kids, which makes no sense whatsoever, and children left alone. And judging by the size of the kids, maybe 5, maybe 7 years old, alone. They then go into home health care and hospice fraud, and they find this one area that literally looks like an old motel that now every single what would have been hotel rooms looks like, I don't know, offices, and all of them have something to do with hospice care. Here's Nick Shirley, number 2.
This place is just filled with hospice centers and home health care centers. You have one right here, 7-star home health care, and then up here you have Miracle Healing Hospice. So this hospice location, Miracle Healing Hospice, in 2023, they charged $1.3 million, and per beneficiary, it was $32,000 for 38 beneficiaries. Per beneficiary, that comes out to $32,935. Let's see if Grandma could check herself into this one. I'm just trying to be a good grandson. We're knocking the door, no one's coming. We look inside the window. Empty building. In 2023, this place received $1.3 million.
Not a single piece of furniture.
Nothing.
Insane. This is insane.
$1.3 million, and there's nothing inside. Now, isn't it odd that a hospice, which is end-of-life care, right? Who needs hospice? People who are about to die, correct? People who are not making a rebound. They're not getting some magical treatment. They're being made comfortable until they take their last breath. Hospice, yes? Why would you call yourself Miracle Healing, right? Well, they don't exist. Neither do their patients. But what is real is the $1.3 million of our money that they've cashed. Nick goes on. He's like, look, it's not just shell companies, businesses that don't exist. It's this entire complex that he's standing in, an old motel environment. Not even this is real. Listen.
Since we can't go to Miracle, let's see if we can get SX Home Health. It says they're open Monday through Friday from 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m.
It's getting really hard to find grandma the healthcare she needs these days.
It really is, isn't it? We got SX Home Healthcare. They're not open, so it's all right because we can go to Alpha Omega Ventana Hospice Inc.
Not only are these shell companies, these are shell buildings. It's like somebody took a motel building and turned it into 100 fraudulent organizations.
We got a nice Mercedes down there, 3 nice Mercedes down there,
This
3
place
Teslas.
might even double as like a illegitimate car lot. Like, are they Are they selling a car right now?
This ex-home healthcare that he knocked on the door of, nobody responded, even though he knocked during normal business hours, has gotten $5.1 million. Our money. $5.1 million. Nobody is there. Wait a minute. But maybe there is somebody there. This is where a guy who apparently says he's been involved in hospice care since 1997, I think he says. He confronts Nick and knows exactly who he is. It's kind of interesting. Let's go.
For hospice for who?
Grandma.
For Dr. Oz?
Yeah, for Dr. Oz.
Yeah?
Yeah, for our grandma.
Yeah?
It'd be,
for grandma?
It'd be pretty
Take
good.
Dr. Oz to take his grandma and go to the other buildings and find the hospice. You know, this is stupid. You can't record me.
Why can't I record you?
You cannot.
Oh, okay. Well, we were looking for Guardian of Angels.
Well, did you see any Guardian of Angels on the doors?
Nope, but they received and billed $4.8 million.
Well, it's their problem.
But we do have yours, actually.
Mine?
Yeah, yours is a KMD, right?
Yes.
So we do have yours, and there are a lot of these.
How many millions did I need?
We don't have your official number because it wasn't posted on the CMS website or on their data set.
And you're from where?
My name's Nick Shirley. They actually made like all this information in the data public for everyone to see what was going on in our country because so much corruption's happening.
Yes.
But it doesn't look like we could find any of your information from the CMS data set, but we do have you here. So is that concerning that your information wasn't reported to the CMS?
What information?
To the CMS data set as far as the billing and how much money you guys receive from Medicare and
Medicaid? First, you have to research.
Oh, that's what we have right here.
No. It's a piece of paper.
Oh well, we went through all the data sets.
If you want to learn, I'll teach you how to get after the crooked people.
Oh, I'll teach you how to get after the crooked people, who's most assuredly not me, he says. Now, he also says he doesn't give an F about the fraud. I do. And that even though he's been in the hospice business since 1997, suddenly he doesn't understand, he doesn't know how fraud happens. This is curious. Listen.
So what's the need for 1,000% increase in hospice here inside of LA, in California?
You're asking me?
Yeah, because you're in the industry, so we figured might as well ask you. You obviously found it was a good business to start. You just started yours, right?
I started my business in 1997.
Okay, great. So how come you're seeing such an increase in hospice care here?
Maybe I don't know. Everybody likes the business. What could I say? I do this from 1997.
Good for you. And so, since you've been in the industry for so long, why do you think we're seeing 1,000% increase in hospice care here inside of LA and in California?
I cannot answer that question because
looks like they're all running out of here. Everyone's heading out. We just got to answer some questions, and why can't?
Who's running out?
What? Look at all the people scattering out of here. They're all here just a minute ago.
It's strange, you know. There's over 80 people connected to one of these dormant motel rooms with no furniture, and they are, getting $30,000 per person. It's millions of dollars. We come and knock on the door. It's an abandoned shell company.
I don't say it's right, and I don't care about those people.
Could you just answer the question? What's the need for 1,000% increase in hospice care here inside of LA, inside of California? You're in the industry, sir. You've known it. You know it better than me.
You're asking me? No, I don't.
You've been in it since 1997. You said.
Yeah, but I don't.
So what's the need for an increase?
Maybe there is a lot of old people already. I don't know what to say.
A lot of old people are dying.
I don't know what to say, but I was just telling you that I've been in the business since 1997. When you ask me about why there's been this explosion in providers offering hospice for people who don't exist, siphoning hundreds of millions, billions of dollars away from the American taxpayer, all of a sudden he's like, I don't know. I mean, cat's got my tongue. It's almost like they all suck. Oh, because they do. There are some things in America that you just don't fiddle with. The American dollar is one, but how about the Pledge of Allegiance? I have a particular feeling about that myself. And so you can imagine how I feel about the Maine high school that doesn't say it anymore. Oh boy, next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. The guy tries every sleazy avenue. I don't care about it. Well, I'm not doing it. It's not my business. I've been doing this. How old are you, you little boy? You don't know what you're talking about. I'll show you how to do this. You don't know how to do research. That's just a piece of paper. Don't trust that. Are you with Dr. Oz? And then all of a sudden, as the video continues, the guy like runs away from Nick and his hands are shaking. And Nick's like, why are you so upset? And then he's like, I have diabetes. And he's like, really? And then he says that Dr. Oz is a snake oil salesman and he took one of his medications and gained all sorts of weight. No.
Not because he's diabetic.
Not because you need, I don't know, sit up in a salad maybe. I'm just going to go with that. And then he's malignant and he's kind of gets in his face like, oh yeah. And it's like, sounds like you've got a little something to be worried about. I have to find out where this building is, the exact address, because I want to know what kind of a hotel it was before, motel. He's totally right. He's totally right. All right. So I want to tell you quickly about Rumble Wallet. Rumble Wallet, you can download Rumble Wallet now with, let's see, you're going to save. Well, this is what they say. I'm going to give you exactly what they say this is. You may have seen the conversations happening online lately as censorship, obviously. It's never left. It's back. It's happening everywhere. Platforms are controlling narratives. They're pushing the stuff they want us to see. And so we fight back. And one of the reasons we're so loyal to Rumble is they've been a staunch partner of free speech for us. And for that, I will always be grateful and always dedicated to them at Rumble. They're offering Rumble Wallet. It's a wallet that nobody can cancel. It's a wallet that supports, allows you to support people that you like on Rumble, different creators. It's only yours. Rumble doesn't touch it. They're not getting access to your money. You can buy, you can save digital assets like Bitcoin and precious metals. And now the new USAT, which is a U.S. regulated stable coin, they call it. It's all in one place. And it's not only a wallet to buy and save, it also allows you to support your favorite creators by easily tipping them with the click of a button. If you're interested in learning more, please do. Rumble or wallet.rumble.com. Wallet.rumble.com. Something that they're interested in, and they just wanted to float by you and see if you're interested in it too. Wallet.rumble.com. All right. What else do we have going on? How are your comments? How are our rumbles? What's the number? Let's see. All right. 2.22. Can we get up to 2.7? I mean, that's a big ask. That's 400 people plus before the end of this hour. But I know we can do it. Let's see how many views. We got 5,500 people. Come on now. These are great numbers. I'm very impressed by this today, and yet it's not resonating. So if you wouldn't mind hitting that thumbs up button, I appreciate it. We've had, 280 comments. We should be getting 500, 600, 1,000. Love having your comments. Let's see what some of them say. Good morning from Montgomery, Texas. Hello. Hi, Al. Love seeing you. Hi, Darius. Hi, Spar. What's going on, AJ Karsha or Cardia? Hi, Kath. What's going on, Schoolf? Hi, Team 1717 and Hoka Pen. JJ and Penny are here. I love you. Hello. 1611 Duke. Stephen G, how are ya? Hi, Codger. Hi, Glow. What's up, Mama Berry? Jads USA. Hello. Well, welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. I don't know how many of you would remember this. In fact, that's a great question for me to ask those of you who are frequent flyers of this program or go back in time with us. Who was there when we started saying the Pledge of Allegiance every single day before the start of the show? Right? You know who you were. And the whole beef of that wasn't it Jerry Nadler? Wasn't he the guy who said no?
Yes.
He was involved in some House committee or whatever, and they wanted to stay. I guess they wanted to say the pledge before
they did, and he said, "Well, we already said it as the whole Congress.
The whole body.
We don't need to say it again."
Right, the 4 minutes that we're working, we actually said it already, and I don't really think we need to say it again. And I'm like, Really? It's kind of a reminder. It's kind of like a base level. All right, let's all make sure we're on the same page. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. And he's like, no, I don't think so. So we got everybody on the floor to come into the radio studio, and we all said the Pledge of Allegiance. And Brock and I looked at each other, and I'm like, I don't think it's a shtick. I think it's a reasonable beginning. It's the most important part of the show. It's where you say, with your hand over your heart, that you understand. You know what's at stake. You have an allegiance to this great thing, and that it's unwavering, and that you will stand and deliver, right? Well, in a Maine high school, they were like, you know what? We really don't think we need to say that anymore. What the hell is wrong with Maine? What happened to you? This is Falmouth High School. It's spelled Falmouth, mouth, but I think the reporter calls it Falmouth. Kind of say it quick. There's a 10th grader there who, with his father, has filed a lawsuit against the school district and the superintendent in Maine because they say the high school stopped providing any opportunity for students to recite the Pledge of Allegiance, violating a law, in fact, in Maine that dates back to 2011 and the district's own policy requiring schools to offer the Pledge of Allegiance daily or regularly, though participation is voluntary. I don't know what's wrong with people. Like, if you can't stand up and you can't put your hand over your heart and be grateful for the country and say that you will stand beside it and do whatever you can to honor it and do what is right, then get out. Get out. Well, I want you to hear this news report. It's so ridiculous because people are pissed, and they should be. This is one of those, we're going to let transgender people play in women's sports and think that's all hunky-dory. But when it comes to the Pledge of Allegiance, that is a bridge too far, let me tell you, in Maine. Here is your news report breaking it down.
Right. Now, not every student has to participate, of course, but under the law and the Falmouth District's own policy, the schools must provide an opportunity to recite the Pledge of Allegiance. But according to the lawsuit, this family claims that Falmouth High School no longer provides that opportunity.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
The Pledge of Allegiance is often recited at the start of a school day, civic meeting, or veteran assembly. Falmouth Elementary School recites the pledge on school days. So does Falmouth Middle School. But according to a lawsuit filed by Christopher Hickey on behalf of his 10th grade son, the high school no longer provides an opportunity to recite the pledge. The family declined to speak with us, but his son's sworn affidavit says the school has never provided an opportunity for me or my classmates to recite the Pledge of Allegiance during the school day. Mr. Hickey's suit alleges his son and other students are being deprived of engaging in this patriotic exercise, affecting their civic education. Local Army veterans we spoke with agree.
Our students don't get enough citizenship instruction, and that's the least they can do, I think. It represents so much to not only veterans, but the entire community in our country. And so I don't see any bad in it, only good.
I think you should always do the Pledge of Allegiance in the high school. It's what makes America, America. It's part of being proud in our country.
Part of being proud of your country, unless there are a bunch of malignant, progressive, white college-educated, toxic liberal chicks who are trying to ruin it because they're not proud of being an American. They're not proud of the American military. They're not proud standing by the flag. Maybe because they've never been anywhere. I wonder if we transported some of those people who decided that the Pledge of Allegiance was not even optional. It wasn't even going to be offered as a thing anymore. If they'd like to go to some of these places that they think are preferable. Sort of like the woman on the street, the influencer who was asking a bunch of people, what do you fear most? A MAGA Republican, somebody with a MAGA Make America Great Again red hat on, or an Islamic person, an extremist running down the street shouting Allahu Akbar, right? What do you think is more dangerous? Well, you saw what they said yesterday. More dangerous is the Republican with the Make America Great Again. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a cancer in this country. And we can keep it from spreading. It has to stop being planted in school, period. when we come back, hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program. It's fascinating. This part of the reason a growing group in America says send them all back. Scammers from India have found a way to get around immigration and score a visa in gold. What? Next. The healthy fat. All right, I'm going to tell you guys what's in here, and I do this all the time. It turns out the key to losing weight, I mean real weight, and keeping it off is not in counting your carbohydrates. It's not in cutting down your fat. It's not in even in eating many probiotic-rich foods. The end game of having a healthy weight, as well as more energy and a long, healthy life, comes down to a specific switch that you can literally, you can flip it in your body to flush out unnecessary calories. I'm super panicked because there's like one more day here because we drink it every single day. So this is the healthy fat. This is what Dr. Gundry did to lose all of his weight. This is how he has, what he's prescribed. It's over the counter. It's a dietary supplement from Dr. Gundry. It's called MCT Wellness, but the reality is it's called thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. And when you click there, you're going to get a video that kind of walks you through some things. Like, how many of you think a big bowl of blueberries would be something great for you to eat in the morning, or a bowl of granola, or what? He goes through things that sound like they'd be healthy, and he tells you why they're not, and why maybe your dietary choices are really thwarting your ability to lose weight. And he says, if you drink this, put a scoop in cold, nice glass of water every single day, you're going to absolutely stymie your cravings, right? You're going to stop the eating, and you're going to lose meaningful weight, lasting big time numbers on the scale. This is not for your casual weekend dieter who's like, you know what, I've got a wedding next Friday, and I want to make sure I fit into my dress a little bit better. It's not for the 2-3 pound weight loser. This is for the significant 50, 60, 80, 100 pounds or more. MCT Wellness is what it's called. The healthy fat is how you get to it. Thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. I strongly recommend it. Once you start it, you'll be like, that's really delicious. That's correct. I also want to tell you about another product from Juvenon, and it is their weight loss offering. It's another product, but it's different than what Dr. Gundry does in that it's not a drink. Let me pull it up for you. Hold on. GLP-1 Gold. This is it. That's a hormone, GLP-1. And the hormone in some people it's sort of like the acid in your belly that digests pills. It kind of just gets weak over time. And so if your GLP-1, this natural hormone, doesn't fire for you, isn't working for you, your body doesn't know when you need to stop eating. And so that's how you see people who can eat and eat and eat and become morbidly obese. A lot of that stuff isn't their fault per se, something in their signaling. Rather than injecting yourself with a drug whose long-term effects we don't know, and would have side effects that make a lot of people nauseous and feel terrible, why don't you, for less than $40, try GLP-1 Gold from Juvenon? You take one of these a day, see what happens. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy is how you get to it. 30% off with my name. It's crazy. I love Juvenon. I'm going to do more with Juvenon. Anything they make, I want to be a part of. That's how serious I am about them. And that's not some sunshine. GLP-1 Gold. Also, there's the Alpha Gold Male that Brock has been taking. That's the kind of sister product for the Blood Flow 7, but it's for men. It's all about testosterone, all about your endurance, your stamina, blood flow. Brock just did this. So go to Juvenon, go to bloodflow7.com/Wendy. That's going to give you 30% off anything you put in your basket. I believe that's true. Love it. tulipblooms.shop/Wendy. Do you need a hit? You good?
I'm good.
Because I'd bring you one. That's how I roll.
One.
Huh? You will?
I'll take one.
Okay.
This is the only perk I have.
Really?
Working on a company car.
Company card.
Company car, big sticker on the back of it.
Really? I really don't like bananas.
I love bananas.
I really don't.
Then why do you eat them?
Because they're good for you.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think so.
You thought blueberries were good for you too.
They're good.
What don't you like?
The
Is it the texture?
yes.
Okay. Oh, what? Easy, lady.
That's why some people don't like mashed potatoes, because they're like, "Blah."
But who even tastes the mashed potatoes with 4 pounds of gravy on it?
I didn't put 4 pounds of gravy on it.
I know. What? If you don't like mashed potatoes, just put enough gravy on them.
You can put gravy on anything. I
Oh
don't
my
eat it.
gosh, a biscuit.
Oh my
country
God.
fried
All right.
steak.
No. So one of the best things I ever got was at Pittsburgh International Airport. I know. It's totally not right. And it was just some dippy bar inside. And it was super crispy crowns. Not tater tots. Oh, maybe they were tater. No, they were a little bit crowns. Super crispy with bacon, cheese, and gravy. Really? Really? Before a flight?
Oh, that wasn't smart. Hopefully it was just a puddle jumper for you.
With turbulence.
Yeah.
Stay in your seat. I'm like,
Yeah. That lady's been in the bathroom for an hour.
no, it's so good though, right? You put gravy on anything. God. That's why breakfast is my favorite. And if you can get it at Waffle House, I want it.
Sausage
Gravy.
and biscuits gravy. Oh.
On anything.
I've been indulging in the country fried steak every Saturday.
That's so good.
With gravy on. Oh. Can mix it with the taters.
Just stop. Now.
You want a French dip?
No, I don't. Now I want those taters. Hold on. I need to get a tan.
Who doesn't want taters?
Tonight it's late.
5, 4, 3, 2.
I wasn't invited.
1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family. She once hosted a 3-hour show in just 15 minutes. She once intimidated the Electoral College to audit itself. Her monologues are so sharp, they're considered a concealed carry weapon. Fact-checker sites routinely issue her a retraction a week in advance. Even her commercial breaks trend on social media. Her freedom of speech has diplomatic immunity. She doesn't just drain the swamp has to ask for cab fare. Wendy Bell is the most interesting conservative woman on radio. Keep rumbling, my friends. 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live. You know, there's always going to be a scammer out there who's going to try to scam you. Always going to be somebody out there who's going to cut corners, who's going to spend so much time coming up, concocting some scheme that if they had just gone to work and actually done something legitimate and kosher for a living, they probably would have done just fine. Right? How about these people from India now? It's not just the Somalians. It's not just that Armenian dude that we saw who was talking to Nick Shirley. Armenians, the Russians, that whole mob scene seems to be allegedly, according to Dr. Oz and even Nick Shirley, that seems to be running the hospice mumbo jumbo fraud in LA County. But this is very special. This is taking advantage of American complacency. And sadly, you know, we've had a very complacent country for a while. Enough is enough. Good old ways, standard operating. It's not like that anymore. We demand better. We demand more. And it's well past time. You know, America invites people to come here for a better life. But somewhere along the way, a lot of the big winners like stopped assimilating and started organizing against the American people. And they didn't bend. They didn't blend in to kind of join the fun. They built a political machine that works for them and screws the rest of us over. That's a fact. And our politicians, instead of protecting American workers, they joined in on the scam. If you follow the rules, you get pushed aside. If you learn how to work the loopholes, you get the golden goose and Oliver eggs. And this report from revolver.news kind of tells you everything you need to know, because it's always a new scheme, a new layer. FBI just uncovered a new Indian immigration scam, and this one's a pretty crafty doozy. We regret to inform you that the Indian nationals are at it again. The Indians, who are always looking for ways to game the system, are constantly evolving. The second a loophole appears, they pounce and figure out how to exploit it. And when you have a system as loosey-goosey as ours, the scams are ripe for the picking. That is exactly what federal investigators say they have uncovered in a new case involving a bizarre, totally brazen new immigration scam. According to the FBI, a group of Indian nationals is staging fake robberies at their businesses in order to qualify for a special type of immigration visa meant for crime victims. Seriously. I mean, if they're going to lie and say that everybody's autistic and game that system, why wouldn't they do this? Of course. So here's how prosecutors say the elaborate scam works. The Indian national business owners arrange what looks like an armed robbery at their store or their restaurant, whether it's a jewelry location, it's a convenience store, restaurant, a clother, whatever it is. They arrange for some kind of goon to come in and rough up the place, right? They've got surveillance cameras. That's key. You got to have some proof. And they come in and it's all orchestrated and choreographed. They pretend to steal stuff out of the register, push some people around. Cue the woman screaming, right? I can't believe it. And bad guys storm in, threaten the employees with what looks like a weapon, get robbed some cash, bolt out the door. And then the Indian store owner calls the cops, right? Then files a report. And the security footage is turned over, showing the business owner or the employees as the victims of this serious crime. Sounds super scary, right? Well, sure, if it was a real robbery, it would be terrifying. But according to investigators, of course, it's all bogus. They say the employers or the employees and the, quote, robbers are, of course, working together, and that is where the immigration scam comes into play. Why ever would this benefit somebody who wants to stay indefinitely in this country and continue ripping us off and raping us blind? Well, these so-called robbery incidents are used to apply for what's known as a U visa, the letter U. What's that, you're asking? Well, it's a special humanitarian visa for victims of certain crimes who cooperate with law enforcement. Seriously? That's all it takes? Well, prosecutors say the program was never meant to be used this way. Crafty, aren't they? Obviously, but these crafty scammers are allegedly staging the robberies just to generate police reports and evidence needed to support this U visa application. Authorities say the scheme actually isn't all that new. It goes back to 2023, so a handful of years ago, and stretched across multiple states. The ex-account Wall Street Apes posted a new immigration scam uncovered by the FBI. Foreigners staging the fake crimes, cooperating with police, qualifying for a U visa. Prosecutors say it's going on everywhere. They say they've arrested 10 individuals in what prosecutors describe as a major immigration fraud scheme. The suspects, all Indian nationals, allegedly staged fake armed robberies at businesses, including convenience stores and restaurants. Like, why would you do that? Well, then, of course, you know. So it's almost like every various nationality the Democrats have imported into this country over some element of crisis, right? The Somalians were all about civil war. Hurry, bring them over. Barack Obama's like, hurry, we have to bring them over now. What could go wrong? Well, the Somalians, we'll give you We'll give you the autism stuff and a slice of the welfare stuff too, the daycare, leering centers, right? Over here in LA County, the Armenians and the Russian, the mobsters, allegedly, you guys will handle some of the hospice, by and large, the hospice fraud, right? These Indians, however, well, you know what? You guys can own this U-Visa scam like nobody's business and see how many of you can stay in the country after you've overstayed your visa. Well, the case should be a reminder to every American just how creative immigration fraud schemes have become. And look, it's so interesting. All of these progressives, these liberals who are just aghast at this country. Oh, I have to move away. Ellen DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi. Oh, I can't take it anymore. This place is so unlivable. We got people literally killing each other to come here. Now, I'd love to tell you it's for the freedom. It's for the ability to speak your mind on the street, not get shot as you would in Iran. Right? I'd love to tell you that's why they're coming, but they're not. They're coming to rip you off because the system is ripe for the picking. And they've picked. And they've picked. And this has been going on for years. This is why I wanted to play for you that flashback to that Fox News report with that Eric guy, right? Telling you in 2016 how rampant the election fraud was, from ballot harvesting and petition signing and all this other mumbo jumbo. People are coming to this country, I'm going to say, not because they're fleeing persecution. They're coming here to rip us off because it's so damn easy. Now, after you hear this, because you work with authorities in some kind of a criminal capacity, that there's some loophole that you should qualify for a special immigrant visa called a U visa, is just stupid. That makes no sense. It's not logical, right? So rampant, however, this is why people are like, when asked a poll question, and this is how this has evolved, Quinnipiac National Polling asked whether voters prefer giving most undocumented immigrants a pathway to legal status or deporting most undocumented immigrants. About 31% chose deportation overall. I don't care who you are. I don't care how great a person you are. You're here illegally, get out of my country. Roughly 61% of Republicans said that, while large majorities of Democrats and independents preferred some pathway to becoming a legal citizen. I don't want that. But this is changing among independents. This is why a lot of people are saying, everybody who's not from here, who's not an American citizen, get out. Because every single day, there's a new layer of that onion that we peel. Oh, it's Somalians in Minneapolis. Now it's the Russian and Armenian mafia in Los Angeles County. To, oh, now it's the Indians ripping off the visa situation all over the country. Among independents, this is how things are changing. In January of 2025, Marist asked, who wants all illegal aliens, regardless of criminal status? If you're illegal, get out. Who wants that? Marist poll of independents. In January of last year, independents were split. 50% supporting getting everybody out, deport them all, bye-bye, versus 49% who opposed. New York Times, 10 months later in October, showed the number had ticked up to 52% of independents backed deporting everybody, all immigrants living illegally in the United States. Then, August of last year, Ipsos, even before the New York Times poll, 67% of independents supported deporting undocumented immigrants in general. This isn't a complicated thing. And you're not a racist for looking at somebody who does not look like you and being suspicious, because this is what they do. Is this what all of them do? No. But is it really your job to litigate, or should we, one fell swoop, if you're not a citizen, get out of our country? That's how I feel. And I refuse to be embarrassed or apologetic about it. Become an American. If you want to love this country, become a citizen. If not, go back to your homeland. Adios. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, did you hear this about America's airports? Look, this political game, playing politics with TSA, people's paychecks, their livelihoods, our safety as American citizens, it's got to stop. And it's got to stop before airports start closing, because that's what they say is next. Oh, my. Coming up next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Dr. Simkovich and the Simkovich Concussion Institute. I want to read you a couple things. If you have suffered from a concussion or a head injury, I highly recommend visiting Dr. Simkovich for a free consultation. That's true, free. The therapy he has developed is fascinating. It is effective. He is a joy to be around, and his team is very friendly and helpful. That was Bobby. Thanks, Bobby. This is Jacob. After having had multiple concussions through childhood, I've finally experienced relief of dull headaches and anxiety following Dr. Simkovich's treatment. For those of you seeking lasting healing and relief, go for a visit. This is Matt. Dr. Simkovich and his staff are wonderful. They really helped me recover when no other doctor could, and they help so many others. That's it. Like, if you've gone to other doctors and you haven't gotten relief, it's very easy to be dejected. Don't call 412-366-3700. 412-366-3700. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. You don't have to suffer. You don't have to be in pain. You don't have to be different because you know that you got hurt and you got damaged. You can get fixed. You can be healed. And you can have your life back. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. I'm just going to say, and Kate said it to you this morning, taking a squirt of the velour massaging oil. Like, this is a very interesting product in that it's a gliding, like product. It's meant to be rubbed from somebody's hands onto somebody else's skin, right? So if you've ever gotten a massage, it's that heat of the oil and the hands going into your skin, but you don't want something that dries up and isn't moisturizing, because then the hands get stuck on the skin and it's uncomfortable. So our friends at tulipblooms.shop/Wendy made this velour massaging oil. I don't care about massages. I don't care. I care how this makes my hands feel, my feet feel, my elbows feel, my knees feel. Any part of you that's a little dry, needing a little TLC, needs a little perk of hydration. If your fingers are cracking and bleeding, if your cuticles are hard and painful.
Get it for your feet. Get a foot massager.
Oh, geez. That's so nice.
I told Kate I did it this morning before I came to work. And even walking in, what did I say to you?
Yeah.
It feels like I got a pedicure.
Just like you got a pedicure.
And she's like, I'm going to need to try that. I said, no, we're out.
Brock's hoarding.
You damn right I am. You can have one squirt per day. How you use it is
We're rationing. We're rationing.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm so curious. Any of you who decides to order from freezedryWholesalers.com/Wendy. I love this idea of being prepared for anything and not having shitty food, right? I don't want shitty food. I'm not going to feed my family shitty food. And when you freeze dry food, you don't bake all of the nutrients out of it, right? You don't ruin it. You just take the moisture out. So when you reintroduce moisture, you have your food back.
I'd have loved that in college.
Right?
In your dorm room, you could have, now different dorm rooms now.
100%, but it's easy to store. And this is wholesale. So these are bulk packages. So you literally unzip it, take out the steaks that you want, the burgers that you want, the boneless ribs that you want, seal it, and then use. Did you?
Yes.
Really? Yeah, I don't
Yes.
like that song. I'm sorry.
Wow.
That was my mistake. I had a margarita last night. It must have been the tequila got to my head. Sorry.
Just one?
Just one. Yes, just one. Listen to you spreading lies. Gosh. All right, let's talk about America's airports. I have a fishing trip coming up. I love to fish. One of my favorite things to do is to fish. I feel like every time you have a fishing pole in your hand, a rod and reel, it's like having a $50 scratch ticket. You have no idea what's going to happen once you scratch it, right? You have no idea what's under there. I want to go into Canada. I want to go fish for salmon. I love salmon. I want to go on a trip. So for my birthday, Joe's going to take me to South Carolina. We're going to go sheep's head fishing again. And I cannot wait. Ugliest fish in the world, most delicious thing you've ever tasted. Oh my gosh. Now, if my flight gets canceled, it's hugely inconvenient. But it's not like missing your daughter's wedding or your father's funeral. And these Democrats who can't get legislation the old-fashioned way, and so they hold very important workers hostage to make their point, I find despicable. And there is a carte blanche lack of consideration about the lives of 50,000 TSA agents, not to mention Secret Service, not to mention all the other FEMA, that are not being funded right now. When we're at war with the largest state sponsor of terror on the planet and their proxies, we don't have sufficient funding to keep America safe. Riddle me that. Tell me how that makes sense. Tell me how that's a successful platform. And then you can understand why congressional Democrats have an approval rating south of 20%. So Reuters is reporting, and others are as well, that some small U.S. airports may have to shut down because of TSA absences. A lot of TSA agents work paycheck to paycheck. A lot of Americans work paycheck to paycheck. It's not doable to miss a mortgage payment or a car payment or to not have money to pay for child care while you're at work. And so the call-out rate is going up. The sick-out rate is going up. The number of agents, TSA agents, who have retired or quit in general is way up. And now this deputy guy of TSA, Transportation Security Administration, is that Transportation Security? Yes. Transportation Security Administration says small airports around the country are simply not going to be able to staff. And so they're going to have to close. I want you to hear what he has to say. This has wide-ranging ripple effects on all of us. It is unacceptable for Democrats to play this kind of bullcrap game.
We're doing absolutely everything we can. We have a national deployment office force, and we've fully depleted that. So at this point, we're fully stretched. And so, frankly, there's not much else we can do. As the weeks continue, if this continues, it's not hyperbole to suggest that we may have to quite literally shut down airports, particularly smaller ones, if call-out rates go up and we can't, a lot of these officers can't afford to come in. I talked to one officer this week. She's a single mother, and she has a special needs child, and she can't afford to pay for her special needs child's childcare. So again, I believe it's frankly unconscionable that we have Senate Democrats that are playing, they're holding our folks' financial livelihood hostage over political games, political partisanship. So we really need to get back to normal order.
Unlike the Senate, which works, 3 days a week and gets 15 weeks off a year and gets ridiculous stipends to travel home for free. So they have every weekend as a 4-day weekend. They worked 5 Fridays of 2025. These are the clowns playing games with the livelihood of these TSA agents. Typically under 2% of TSA workers call in sick or do not report. DHS said 366 TSA officers have quit, right? The call out rate is up 30%. No kidding. See, they don't care who they squeeze, as long as it's never their bottom line. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, Glenn Beck, I'm just going to say he's done a lot of very good work. This is one of the more interesting things that makes absolute sense about the Save America Act. Do not miss this next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Can you imagine having a job where you legitimately work 80 days a year? It's sort of like Joe Biden with his presidency.
I would hate it.
You're a busybody, though. Which I am too. Right.
If your flight gets canceled, you're allowed to go up to Connecticut with me, and you can drive. And
Why would
we
I
can
do
go
that?
meet Carl.
I would, you know what? Because we have to fly into Savannah. And like we normally would fly into Hilton Head Island, but you want to talk about small.
We go to Treehouse.
Small, right? So, yeah, we'll see what happens. We got fudged last time too, remember?
Yep. What,
Last
a
trip?
day and a half or something?
Yeah,
like
I lost my whole birthday. The point isn't my birthday. I think birthdays are fun excuses to go do something interesting, right? But
yeah,
kind of poos on you. And I'm speaking only completely selfishly. This isn't my livelihood. Morgane's Fitness. Morgane's Fitness, that Kelly Morgan has been able to help teach us the tools to take back our lives. And these are tools that you will never lose. I think is astonishing. The success that she's had with this online program. So Kelly is a local Pennsylvania woman. She is an Air Force veteran. She is a mom. And she started this business with these gyms where she was teaching fitness, became a bodybuilder. She did this with her husband, Dave. Dave ended up passing away a couple years ago, and she has been fierce. It's like she dug in and not only dug in on her own body and has like negligible body fat, biatch. She helps people like you and me, you and I, who don't necessarily know how to exercise without hurting ourselves. I mean, knowing how to do stuff is half the battle, because if you've got lousy form, you're going to hurt yourself. And she does this thing from your home where it's called 90 Ignite. You give her 90 days, 3 months, and she gives you the food plan and the exercises, and you have to do them. And as long as you show up and do what you're supposed to do, you're going to look completely different at the end of 90 days. No shots, no drugs, no quick fixes, just you doing the work. And she does it all from the computer. So you could join her at the gym at Morgane's Fitness here in Pennsylvania, or you can do it online. Morgane's, Morgainz fitness.com. Hit the 90 Ignite button and get signed up. Get signed up. Stop making excuses. You can do this. And I love the testimonials for anything that we have. WendyBellRadio@gmail.com. All right. What else is going on out there? I haven't seen if we've actually gotten even close to 2.5. Oh, we just hit it.
Wow. How many comments? It, 319 comments.
I love you guys. I like to bust your chops.
Put comments. She may read them. Because you can go back. The chat moves so fast.
Wendy is the greatest. I'll read
Well,
these. I've been a supporter since WTAE. I was so angry when you were fired. Then I found you on KDK, and the rest was history.
I wasn't. I was not upset.
Thanks, 0611 Duke.
I was not upset that you got fired from TAE. I didn't know who you were, but I'd like to go fishing.
I really am. I'm so excited. I think being in like, I don't know where the best place is to salmon fish, but the thought of catching a salmon and then cooking it right there.
I did that. I did a trip.
Like, I want to learn how to
west
clean it. I want to do the whole thing. Yeah.
in Montana.
Fly fishing.
Yes.
With Tom?
Yes. And Jolene. And it was so much fun.
Oh, Jolene went too. How fun.
Yeah. But you can eat what you catch. But you stay at this little area that it's all with the guide. So they cook for you and yeah.
Easy. Yeah. I'm all about
that. It's the first and only time I flew first class. My brother had so many points. He's like, I'll upgrade you to first class.
I've only done it a couple times.
And they're like,
unexpected.
Would you like something to eat? I'm like,
I'm not paying for that.
I'm not paying for it. They're like, no, it's
free.
free. I'm like, I'll have a bag of M&Ms, a banana.
Wow.
I love
That's
bananas.
what you went for?
Yeah.
I'd be like, and keep the little bottles of Chardonnay coming.
Wow. It's a different way to fly. I will say that.
Oh yeah. You can see how people are snobbish at the commoners in the back. You're like,
yeah.
got it in. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. It is great to be with you. You know, Glenn Beck, there are a lot of wonderful talents out there, and Glenn Beck has a very special team of people that I believe helps him do a lot of his digging. But this is a stroke of masterclass genius, I'm just going to say. This is a 6-minute segment. We boiled it down to, I believe, 4 audio sound bites where he walks through this shared, it's not just frustration. Frustration is too docile of a word. Like, I want to light somebody on fire and throw them down the stairs. That's how I feel about all of the fraud that the SAVE Act is trying to prevent. Right? And so when you see people push back against it, you know why they're pushing back against it, because they need fake voters to cheat. They need illegals to get some sort of documentation or just get the ballot across the finish line. They don't want same-day voting. They don't want in-person voting. They don't want ICE agents anywhere near the polling places because why would that be? Well, we all know why, because we're not stupid. And Glenn Beck talks to you like you're not stupid. He tells you some sort of an inside story here. He's like, how is it possible that the Save America Act, which is so wildly successful and popular among the American people, might not get onto the floor, doesn't have the votes, we can't get it across the finish line? I don't think you understand what we're up against, says the Senate Majority Leader John Thune. Well, this is where Glenn comes in, using some data from the X-handle Data Republican. She's great. That dug into the secret club. There's literally a secret club that determines what legislation even makes it onto the House or Senate floor. It ain't your congressmen or women. It ain't your senators. It's, again, another class of unelected bureaucrats wielding the decision-making power because you got a bunch of people who don't show up to do their damn jobs. And this circles back to what was Brandon Gill was saying from Texas. He believes the Senate is too damn lazy to show up and be willing to work the time, weekends, holidays, whatever it takes, to do the filibuster, to do the talking filibuster, make Democrats make their case, and get it across the freaking finish line. He says they're just too lazy. I'm sick to my stomach about that. But when you hear Glenn using this data, starts to make sense. Audio soundbite number 1. Remember when John Thune told us and the news told us that the Save America Act was dead on arrival at the Senate, despite 83% support for it, that it was never going to advance? Where did that whole storyline come from? Well, here you go.
And we have been told before a fight had even begun, it's already over. There's no chance. Dead on arrival. Move along. Nothing to see here. Wait a minute. What? Why? You remember hearing that and thinking, why? Most people are still saying, why? That didn't come from a protest. That didn't come from the voters. 80% of us are all for it. So where did that come from? Data Republican shows it comes from a newsletter. It's called Punch Bowl News. This is a name pulled from the Secret Service code for the Capitol, Punch Bowl. The publication, Punch Bowl News, I never heard of. Most Americans have never heard of this, and you'll understand why here in a minute. But everyone in Washington on Capitol Hill, they read it. Every congressional office, 9 out of 10 staffers read every day Punch Bowl News, okay? Lobbyists, corporate policy teams, legislative directors. How many people read it on a daily basis? You ready? 7,500 people. 7,005. That's the audience, not millions. 7,500.
So how can such a low circulation newsletter, if you will, stay in business? Well, kind of simple. The people who advertise in it are actually the lobbyists who want to influence those 7,500 congressional staffers who are more than likely running their lawmakers' office and their decisions.
If journalism were the business, the readers would be the customers, and there's not enough to keep that in business. They're not the customers. 90% of Punch Bowl's revenue comes from corporate sponsorships. Wall Street, big tech, finance. Industries with billions on the line, depending on what happens in the Senate, right? The subscribers, they're not the customers. They're the product. Corporations are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars not to inform the public, not to reach out and say, look at us, we're such a great... 7,500 people in the real world make no difference at all unless it's the right 7,500 people. And that's what they're paying for, to reach that very specific group of people. And this is a room where the staffers decide what matters, where senators are briefed, where legislative priorities live or die before you even hear about them.
It's no different than Joe Biden's auto pen. This is unelected bureaucrats signing things, allowing things to happen. This is congressional staffers, and they want to influence these congressional staffers, all these lobbyists, all these businesses that either do or do not want legislation presented on the floor. Why is that? Obviously, because they have a vested interest. In audio soundbite number 3, this is where when John Thune, wielding enormous power to not even allow a bill to come to the floor, well, the insiders know all about this, and they move along, and the media puts out stories about how the bill just doesn't have the votes, and they hope the news cycle passes and we get tired of it quickly and a new shiny metal object pops up and we go pay attention to that instead. But that's not what happened this time.
But everybody on the inside understands this. The Senate Majority Leader doesn't just vote. He decides what gets a vote. He decides what lives and what will never reach the floor. So when a bill like Save America comes along with overwhelming public support, it doesn't need to be defeated. It just needs to be declared unrealistic. And that's exactly what happened in Punch Bowl News. And once that label is applied, the machine does all the rest. A reporter just has to write, no path forward to this. a leader says, we just don't have the votes. And before a single senator is forced to stand and be counted, the people who shape Washington's daily reality move on. Meetings aren't scheduled. Pressure isn't applied. Momentum disappears. Not because the people rejected the bill, but because the system never allowed it to exist.
This is that disconnect that you and I have. This is the disconnect that Alaska has with Lisa Murkowski. Do you think Lisa Murkowski has asked a single one of her constituents what they think about the Save America Act? No. She's relying on her own congressional staffers who are reading Punchbowl News and are basically being told by the deep state what should and should not be allowed to be presented on the floor. And because they're lazy, and they don't work like you work. They don't work for a living. 73% of the senators, that would be 73 out of 100, are millionaires. And there's even a billionaire in the Senate. And two are close to being billionaires. They're not working. They're not humping it. They're not stressed out about the mortgage payment. They're not worried about how they're going to make their taxes. They don't have the same views that you have. They don't care about you. They do not represent you. They don't want to go to work. They don't want to put in the time. This is how the game is played. And like welfare and hospice fraud, who ends up paying the bill? What does it cost to subscribe to this newsletter? Well, guess what? You're paying for it.
It's not a conspiracy. It's a business model. And business models don't fail because of scandal. They succeed because they don't need one. Now, you're in this story as well. Whether you know it or not, you're in it. You're not going to like this. Your representative, Congress, spend over $1 million of your money to be in that 7,500 people group. Over $1 million of your tax dollars to buy access to Punchbowl News. They pay to be in the room with your money. You fund the subscription. You paid the cover charge. But you're not invited inside. You have no idea. There's so many divides in America, but there are a few really important ones. And this is the modern divide in America that really counts. It's not left versus right. It's not Republican versus Democrat. It's those inside the room versus those outside the room.
This is people flying first class and the commoners in the back paying for coach. This is where we are. We have an elite group of really lazy zeros, period, who know that they don't have to do much of anything if they become a senator or a congressman or woman. There are some exceptions to the rules, right? There is a group, a small group of the 435 members of the House of Representatives that you and I, as conservatives, would get behind and believe in, but they by no means represent the majority. They know damn well what they're fighting against, which is why they try to get you and me involved. Call, flood their lines, write emails, get your bridge group all together before you start playing. Send this email, call this number, whatever it is. That's how the cycle changes. When the 7,500 are told to suck it because we've come to take our country back. When we return on the Wendy Bell radio program, a lot of people don't understand what the plan is in Iran. I don't understand why. And so I've got something to read to you. It's going to put all doubt, all of the mystery out into outer space. I got it for you next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Did I get everybody? Oh, you know what? Can I say thank you? I went to the P.O. box. Karen, stormy night on Rumble. She says, hi, Wendy. I'm sending a little something for you and Brock. 3 for you, 1 for your studio, 2 for home, and 2 for Brock and Kate. Just throw them in with the laundry when soiled. Love the show. She made like little coasters. Right? Look at how cute they are. Like, who does that? Karen, thank you. Thank you for making me something. I love them. And I'm not sharing them with Brock. Whatever the hell he wants. Well, you say I'm being a liberal? Is that what you just said?
No, I said, how's that any different?
I gave you the whole freaking box of tulip blooms. There was stuff in there that I didn't even look at. I just gave it to you. And you know what he did? He took it all home like a freaking hoarder. And he's like, yee.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we're going to give out fake news.
Okay.
The beard oil.
Oh, wow, you left it here. Wow, what a gem. Thanks, Brock.
I actually forgot to take it home.
Right, exactly.
Full
And everything else
transparency.
you just took.
What'd you want me to do with it?
I don't know. It wasn't all for you. It was a box, and I put it all together, and then you just took off with it.
What do you mean
whatever.
it wasn't all for me?
It wasn't. Some of the stuff they sent to me, and I gave it to you. Just so you know. So don't give me any shite about me not sharing.
Well, if you want to
caring.
fight Kate for the body butter,
No, whatever. I don't need it. Whatever. She can have it.
or you're saying she does?
I don't know. Do I touch her skin? I'm like, ooh, Kate, let me talk to her. Let me touch her skin.
She said she put it the body butter in her neck because that's how you look old.
Do you see what I just did? I went. Forget it. She said what? She's 40 and her neck is old.
No,
What?
she's 40. How old am I?
50.
She's 44.
Oh, wow.
44.
I'm so sorry. I was very off.
Well, I'm just. If you're going to give out news, I don't want it to be fake.
Mm-hmm. Right. Your 44-year-old wife is worried about her neck. Okay, that's great.
I wasn't worried about her
very,
neck.
very pretty girl.
I wasn't worried about her neck.
A
I'm
true,
like, okay.
a true redhead. Very pretty.
You know what they say about redheads?
I don't.
They're crazy.
Why are they crazy?
I don't know. That's just what they say. Poor Kate.
Who's
Can't
they?
hit the jackpot.
Who's they? What are you talking about?
You know they. The
the ubiquitous they.
Yes.
Got it. Right.
Kate hit the jackpot.
2.6. Okay. I'm honestly, can we get to 2.8? We'll have 200 people after the show ends, hopefully get us over the hump. But I would so appreciate it if 200 of you would hit that thumbs up button underneath the video box. It's just that cute little.
I think I'm going to go home and do my feet again.
24 thumbs downs.
Wow.
How you doing? What did I say that pissed you off?
Who?
Anybody who hit the 24 buttons down.
Oh. 10 seconds or less. You should subscribe to glennbeck.com. He's changed up and it's fantastic.
Wow. See, we embrace other people. Bumper music beds. Appreciate Brock rebuilding the entire computer system, which crashed yesterday right before the show. Gotta love live broadcasting. Okay, so I know there are a couple of you out there, one, maybe two, who doesn't understand exactly all of the moves that this president has decided to make vis-a-vis Iran. And maybe, just maybe, you read or listen to CNN or what have you, and you have this idea that Trump is some kind of a dictator. He's this, he's that. It's ridiculous. And I thought I would read to you And it's his full statement on why he decided to do what he did in Iran, as far as I can read it to you, before we run out of time on the show today. Listen to what he said. This is his full statement on this decision to launch Operation Epic Fury. And tell me if this sounds like anything other than pure, unadulterated, unapologetic common sense. This is what he said. A short time ago, the United States military began major combat operations in Iran. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime. A vicious group of very hard, terrible people. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world. For 47 years, the Iranian regime has chanted death to America and waged an unending campaign of bloodshed and mass murder, targeting the United States, our troops, and the innocent people in many countries. Among the regime's very first acts was to back a violent takeover of the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, holding dozens of American hostage for 444 days. Remember that? 1983, Iran's proxies carried out the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut. It killed 241 American military personnel. In 2000, they knew and were probably involved with the attack on the USS Cole. Many died. Iranian forces killed and maimed hundreds of American service members in Iraq. The regime's proxies have continued to launch countless attacks against American forces stationed in the Middle East in recent years, as well as the U.S. naval and commercial vessels and international shipping lines. It's been mass terror, and we're not going to put up with it any longer. This is the president 3 weeks ago before this happened. From Lebanon to Yemen to Syria and Iraq, the regime has armed, trained, and funded terrorist militias that have soaked the earth with blood and guts. And it was Iran's proxy, Hamas, that launched the monstrous October 7th attacks on Israel, slaughtering more than 1,000 innocent people, including 46 Americans, while taking 12 of our citizens hostage. It was brutal, something like the world has never seen before. Iran is the world's #1 state sponsor of terror and just recently killed tens of thousands of its own citizens on the street as they protested. It has always been the policy of the United States, in particular my administration, the president writes, that this terrorist regime can never have a nuclear weapon. I'll say it again. They can never have a nuclear weapon. And that is why Operation Midnight Hammer last June, we obliterated the regime's nuclear program at Fordo. And after that attack, we warned them never to resume their malicious pursuit of nuclear weapons. We sought repeatedly to make a deal. We tried. They wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. And then they wanted to do it again, back and forth. They didn't know what was happening. They just wanted to practice evil. But Iran refused, just as it has for decades and decades. They've rejected every opportunity to renounce their nuclear ambitions. And we can't take it anymore. Instead, they attempted to rebuild their nuclear program and to continue developing long-range missiles that can now threaten our very good friends and allies in Europe. Our troops stationed overseas and could soon reach the American homeland. Just imagine how emboldened this regime would be if they ever had and actually were armed with nuclear weapons as a means to deliver their message. For these reasons, the United States military is undertaking a massive and ongoing operation to prevent this very wicked, radical dictatorship from threatening America and our core national security interests. We're going to destroy their missiles and raze their missile industry to the ground. It will be totally, again, obliterated. We're going to annihilate their navy. We're going to ensure that their region's terrorist proxies can no longer destabilize the region or the world and attack our forces, and no longer use our IEDs or roadside bombs to so gravely wound and kill thousands and thousands of people, including many Americans. And we will ensure that Iran does not obtain a nuclear weapon. It's a very simple message. They will never have a nuclear weapon. For many years, you have asked for America's help, but you've never gotten it. No president was willing to do what I'm willing to do for you tonight. Now you have a president who's giving you what you want. Go, let's see how you respond, telling the Iranian people. America is backing you with overwhelming strength and devastating force. And now it is the time to seize control of your destiny, Iran, and to unleash the prosperous and glorious future that is close within your reach. This is the moment for action. Do not let it pass. May God bless the brave men and women of America's armed forces. May God bless the United States of America. And may God bless you all. Any questions? Thanks for being part of the Wendy Bell radio program. Let's do it again tomorrow. You ready? 21 hours? Okay, I cannot wait. Have a great day. Love you guys. Peace.